What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, everybody? CSGs. Man, we all we got. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I appreciate everybody for coming through. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. How y'all feeling out there? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling, man? Let's see. Let's see what we got. We got on today. We're gonna be talking about the Rockets 2024 draft and the offseason moves that they have made. How y'all feeling out there, man? Yep. It's me. It's Space. I know it's been a minute. I know it's been a minute, but I appreciate y'all still holding it down for my boy Frank. I've been I've been working a whole lot, bro. Long story short, man, I've been working a whole lot in my job and had me pretty occupied as of late. But I'm back. I'm back. Let me put this right here. I'm back. How y'all feeling, man? Like we as Rockets fans, we should be feeling pretty good right now. We should be feeling pretty good. I love the offseason moves that we have. The draft, if you remember, I said I would probably trade the pick, but we needed shooting. He's a great shooter in Reed Sheppard, great passer, and I think he's going to fit in well. He can play a little defense, play the passing lanes. He is a good teammate from what I hear. And he come from Kentucky and he's a Kentucky guard. So what he should work out. He should work out for us. And what we've been needing, it seems like we have fixed what we've been needing for this roster especially last year. Our guys are gonna come in a year more older, a little bit more experienced, a little bit more experienced. Udoka, he's gonna have some shooters because we acquired AJ Griffin. You know, he's a 3-and-D wing. He can shoot 3-pointers at a high level. Looks like we won't be dealing with Aaron Holiday and Jay Sean Tate, even though they re-signed Jay Sean Tate. Even though they re-signed Jay Sean Tate, I think it's more for trading purposes. Trading purposes. You know, I'm gonna let everybody get in here and fill it up before I go ahead and get into it because we're gonna watch. I'm gonna go over some of the latest video that Frank, my boy Frank and Roosh went over, and I think they laid it out perfectly. I think they hit on a lot of the key points of how we got up to this space, to this place where we at right now, what we can be doing in the future. I think they laid it out pretty damn good. So I'm gonna be going over that as well. I'm gonna be going over that as well. Appreciate everybody for joining us over here on YouTube. Appreciate everybody that's joining us by way of X of Twitter. So if you really want to, I can't see comments over here from X. So if you want to, you can go to our YouTube page and jump on. And if you want, because I'm gonna be bringing people up, be giving you. I want to hear y'all take all like always. I'm doing this on a different app right now. I usually go to my other app, but I had to come to this other app so I can actually watch the video because if my other app wasn't working that I usually stream on. That's why I had a different intro and such like that. But yeah, man, let me holler at people in the comments. Put it in the comments if you want to shout out Dustin Berthelot. Appreciate you for joining us. Hunter Grip. Appreciate you for joining us. Rob Stradamus. Appreciate you for joining us. Icy 1025. What's good, brother? Terry Agent. What's happening? OG Terry Agent. Chet Man, what is good? What is good? Aaron Ellenbow, what's happening? What's happening? Devin 95, what's good with it, Devin? Ellis Durrell, what's happening? What's happening? Mario Gonzalez, what's good with it? Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, what's happening with you? Who else we got in here with us? A King named Clip. A King named Clip. What's good? What's get it? Usagami, what's happening? What's happening? What's up, Brandon? How you doing? Appreciate you for joining us over here at the Chop Shop, baby. Appreciate everybody for joining us, man. Go ahead and give y'all a round of applause. Round of applause, man. I appreciate y'all for hanging up with us. I know it's been a while since we had a good live stream, but we here. KPJ back in the league for real. Did he really sign with the Clippers? I'm not sure. What's up, JK Memes? What's good with it? What's up with it? None and Mac. Nonine Mac. Sean Caleb in the building. What's happening, Merc One? What's happening with your Merc One? If he is back in the league, you know, what can I say? They let Miles Bridges back. They let Miles Bridges back, and he did some pretty awful things to his girl. So if he went through the necessary steps, necessary process to get back in the league, I can't be mad. I can't be mad. His girl has moved on. I think she with Jalen Brown or something. I seen her holding Jalen Brown MVP trophy. Think he was holding Jalen Brown's MVP trophy. So I don't know if she's with Jalen Brown or not. Do y'all know? Put it in the comments if you know if she's with Jalen Brown or not. Yes, and the NBA free agency is going on right now. Look like Andre Drummond just went back to the 76ers. I'm wondering if any moves that the Rockets make and I don't get them, can you please put them in the chat? Let me know so I can see exactly what's going on with the team. What's going on with the team. But for now, man, we're going to jump into this video by Frank. I don't know if Frank is off or is he going to be here with us. Hopefully he can come in and join us so we can get an in-depth conversation with him so he can take us through the process and what he was thinking about this. Now, let's go with it real quick. Steve-O says, yeah, Jalen BR had her and Jalen Brown. Oh, okay. Big R, what's happening, Big R? What's good with it, Big R? That's my boy. Big R. Yeah, man. I know people been asking, man, what space at, man? What it do, man? What space? Man, it's been hectic for me, man. I'm gonna try to do these at least once a week if I can, man. I done set up a couple of live streams and end up having to work over for my job, man. There's some things that I've been having to work out with my job, man. They've been demanding of me as of late. What's up, Brown Xmas? What's up, Brown Xmas? What's good with it? What's happening? Yeah, but we're gonna jump into this video real quick. If Frank come by, man, I'll be more than happy to hear Frank when he comes by. Let's get it. Oh, and I will be bringing y'all up later. So if you on X and you watching this, if you want to voice your opinion on the trades and such, come on over to YouTube. That's at the Rockets Chop Shop on YouTube. Come on over here and join us, and I can bring you up. I'll post the link in the chat in a minute. Let's get it. Let me know if y'all can hear the video. If not, I have to turn it up.
Welcome to another episode of Rockets Talk. Got my boy Roosh. We are back just in time for the draft. And a lot of stuff going on in the NBA. The Celtics won a championship. Trade rumors, big trades happening. One of the key trades that just went down was I don't know if it's a massive trade or not. To me, it's significant to the Rockets. The Oklahoma City Thunder just traded Josh Giddey to the Chicago Bulls straight up with no picks attached for Alex Caruso. 1-for-1. What are your initial thoughts on that, bro?
Man, it seemed like OKC always get the people we want. Why Oklahoma City always get the people we want, man? I be wanting them, man. We was talking about Caruso. Let's get him over here, man. OKC, man. He don't Presti don't be playing over there.
It's crazy. First of all, Oklahoma City gets better. right? Josh Giddey did not fit into what they want to do. He does not fit into what makes them better, right? He
I'm gonna fast forward to what's relevant.
Never have too much of, and shooting and defense is one of them, especially in one player, and he brings that. Like if the trade went through, you got hold, bro. Like no matter what happens. But a young player for them.
Yeah, that was a good move for OKC, man. Getting rid of Giddey, a non-shooter, and you getting a defensive stud, all defensive MVP, all defensive player. That's a good trade. And Sam Presti, he ain't gonna sleep on his laurels. Pretty sure he's not satisfied. He's gonna make some more moves.
And I think that for them, looking at a team that wants to contend for a championship, when you start having players that, even though you love them, even though they're players that you,
that's the market, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be in that position probably next year. We probably gonna have to move off some people that we don't really want to move off of. But if we really want to contend, if we really want to be where we think we can go to, a couple of these guys probably gonna have to get moved.
Like, we're not gonna give you a pick. We're just doing a straight player swap, right? So hopefully that's in Houston's favor. Hopefully that lowers the price when if Houston wants to make a trade for one of these guys that's due for an extension to go get a winning player, right? Like the trade they're talking about maybe for Marcus Smart. If you saw that, and we can get into that. Another interesting thing is I looked it up. Caruso isn't expiring. He's expiring, 1 year left. This 24-25 season, final year on his deal, $9.9 million. So really good contract there. Also, to your point about Lonzo Ball, I agree with that. Yeah, they were good with a real point guard running the show, right? Because they had the talent, but you need the piece that makes it all work. Obviously, Lonzo, more athletic.
Yeah.
Refer to the Celtics. Like you look at the Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum combination, and people try to extrapolate that to mean something for their teams and for the Rockets is like, and I think for me, I just wanted to say this on there, like with the patience thing. They were patient with a team that was a playoff contender. There's a difference between being patient with a team that is perennial Eastern Conference Finals, contenders and second round and conference finals. To me, if you have a team that's getting you there, then you can be patient because basically all you want is an opportunity. Because at 1 year could be your year where you get lucky and make it to the finals and win it, right? It's a difference between that and a team that's not making the playoffs and being patient.
Boom. I think Frank hit the nail on the head with us. It's enough to be patient with young guys if you're making incremental growth. If you are in the race for actually competing and making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, making it to the Eastern Conference second round, and things like that. But our fan base, I know our guys are young. And they're gonna have to actually grow and mature and to be there. But eventually, you got to go from actually potentiality to actuality. It's enough to have potential. Potential will get you by maybe 2 to 3 years in the league, maybe 4. But then after that, you're gonna need some real concrete evidence, some concrete substance to say, okay, I can see us moving along and keeping this group together. But as long as we're not actually moving along and actually doing things to where it seems like we're coming and turning the corner, then it's hard to keep young guys together like that. It's hard to keep young guys together like that. And Frank hit the nail right on the head with it. He's talking to the fan base right now. Frank is basically saying, hey, eventually, if we're not doing what we have to do on the court, then we're going to have to break these guys up, trade for us a veteran or a superstar type player, and a few of these guys are going to have to go. So this next year coming up is going to be big because not only is Şengün going to have to get paid, and then Jalen Green, we're going to have to pay him. Then the following season, that's when Tari and all of them come up together, it's 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 gonna be hard to keep them all together. You know, it's gonna be hard to keep them all together unless you see that we're actually putting together the type of results to warrant us keeping them together. And then, did you see how much Frank Nilikina? I always butcher his name up. This man got $175 million. $175 million, and I know he played on some pretty good teams. What's up, Third Coast Lions? I know he played on some pretty good teams, but man, just imagine if Frank Nilikina, whatever his name is, I can't never pronounce the dude's name right. If he got $175 million, how much do you think Shangoon is going to be worth? How much do you think Jalen would probably have to ask for? You know, their agents are sitting back like, oh, okay, my guy got to at least get this. My guy got to at least get this. And it set up the rookie scale of re-signing them people. Can we? I don't think we can afford to pay Jalen and Shangoon $175 million, especially when you got Dylan Brooks contract. And then you got Fred VanVleet. That's why I don't think after next season, I don't see Fred VanVleet being on this team. I don't see Fred VanVleet being on this team. And if an actual trade come up that's good enough to get Dylan Brooks off this team, then I see us moving Dylan Brooks as well. They're like stopgap players. So hopefully Tari stay healthy. Tari can be that guy to come up and fill in Dylan Brooks. I don't know if we want to explore getting another different type of point guard, or maybe Reed Sheppard end up being the point guard. I don't know. Or Amen Thompson, if he develops a shot and then he can actually grasp the concept of an NBA offense, maybe he is be ready by that time. But I don't see. Um I think it's easier to get rid of Dylan Brooks than Fred VanVleet right now. Because you can always find that 3-and-D type of guy. And we got a couple of them on our roster already. So we can easily replace him. We can easily replace Dylan Brooks, but a point guard, a good point guard just don't fall off trees. The good point guards, they just don't fall off the tree into your lap. So Reed Sheppard or Amen Thompson gonna have to step up and show that they can actually be the point guard of the future before we just dump Fred VanVleet off and get rid of Fred VanVleet. But it's all about not just potential. We're at the point to where the rubber is gonna meet the road next year, and I actually give it to probably about next year trade deadline to see exactly what we're gonna do with a couple of these guys.
So once again, tying this back to the Josh Giddey and where the Rockets are, being patient is only valid if you're actually winning. The Timberwolves can be patient. Dallas can be patient. OKC can be patient, right? They can keep their their central core together and flip pieces around like Boston did. Kyrie, Kemba, just bringing different guys to come in to try to keep their core together. But that core has to show you that they can win at the playoff level. And for the Rockets, they haven't shown that yet. So once again, if you guys hear some of these names, guys on trade rumors, blah, 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 it's anything could happen with the Rockets. Anything could happen because until they can show that this is a viable playoff team, I've said this early in the summer, I don't blame the Rockets for trying to turn over every rock to try to put themselves in a position to be a Minnesota or something this coming year.
That's the name of the game. And
yeah, that's personally from just a personal point aspect, I really wouldn't want KD if there's something better. If there's something better out there, I don't know if I'm willing to break up this young core right now for aging KD. And as good as KD is, and he's great, he's phenomenal. Then you have to always factor in some of the things that he's not probably even capable of doing right now. Staying healthy. that's a key thing um, of his that I kind of have to put my hands up, be like, do we really? Do we really want to? Because I don't think he played like over 55 games within the last 3 years, and it's like you can have the telltale signs that he's gonna be aging, worse than what he is right now. And it's like then you have to factor in is he a leader? Is KD a real leader? We seen the only time he really even got to pass the West Conference Finals is when he was on the super team, and then he's not vocal. It's like he just and nothing wrong with it. I just want to go out and play. I just want to go out and play, get my buckets, and get my buckets, and then see where it goes from there. That's cool. That's cool and all. But if you're going to be giving up draft assets, which we traded and gave Brooklyn back all of their picks that we had control of just to get Phoenix picks back, then you gotta be thinking, well, we're about to trade with Phoenix. Why not? Why? Because if that's not the case, why would you do that type of trade? Why would you give them all of their picks back if you're not thinking about trading them back to Phoenix if Phoenix is looking to blow it up or something like that? It doesn't make sense if you're looking at it from the outside in. Stone, but the thing is now we're banking on. We went from banking on the Nets' demise to now we're banking on the Suns' demise. We're waiting on other people to collapse instead of controlling our own destiny and doing something with these picks and actually doing something with these picks. Is it's a heavy gamble. It's a heavy gamble to do this. Now, if we're trying to get Devin Booker, it might be worth it. Devin Booker, I ain't gonna lie, behind Anthony Edwards, I think he might be second, third best shooting guard in the league. And I wouldn't mind giving up something for Devin Booker. He's still young. He's still got a lot of career left ahead of him. He's not too old to where he wouldn't just automatically fit into the timeline. KD is like 36. KD, he'll be one of, if not the oldest person on our team. And he's not gonna be here for a nice period of time, But Devin Booker, we can get at least another 4 or 5 years out of Devin Booker at a high level. At least another 4 or 5 years with Devin Booker at a high level. So if we're looking to try to get Devin Booker, because if you look at it, no shot at Jalen, kind of a shot at Jalen. Don't kind of a shot at Jalen, but not really a shot at Jalen. Some of them games where we needed actual scoring to keep up with teams, Jalen was kind of non-existent. He was non-existent. If we had a consistent two guard at that spot, I'm pretty sure we would have won another 6-7 games, and we would have been in the playoffs. And we would have been in the playoffs. But hopefully, I'm giving it to trade deadline next season. Then I know definitively if we should pay Jalen, pay Şengün, keep either one, trade them, trade some of these hauls, trade these picks, everything that we got to try to bring in an established superstar. Then I think I'll be have a more of a mindset in which direction we should go right now. But for now, I'm all about waiting a little bit and giving them another half a season to All-Star break next this season coming up to actually make a move to see what we can be. Because I can tell you this right now, Ime Udoka, he is not about to sit around and have another mediocre season. He's not finna do it. He's not gonna do it.
To your point, OKC was patient. and they won 50 of them. He had a very up and down season for them. It was pretty
Let's
clear
get to
that
The Rockets perspective. It's called Houston Rockets Draft Notebook 2.0 Big Board Debates, Domino Effect, and more. It's going to be in the link of the description of this pod or video, wherever you're consuming it at. Roosh, a lot of interesting quotes and takeaways from this article. I think it has, kind of a little bit of everything. I highlighted some of the things that it talked about. I guess I could just go off first. So to me, one interesting thing that I haven't talked about yet. Earlier in the summer, we kind of knew about the Marcus Smart thing with Memphis. I think Memphis has shown interest in the Rockets' third pick pretty much since we acquired that during the lottery. But now we have Charlotte in the mix and Portland as teams that Kelly says are interested in moving up to 3. I remember I got a lot of people saying that who would want to draft.
Oh man, I think we're watching the wrong video. I think we're watching the wrong video, guys. Let me make sure. I think we're watching the wrong video. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. We're watching the wrong video, fellas. Oh yeah, I was watching the wrong video. Come on, Spade. Come on, Spade. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. Y'all work with me, man. I don't know what I'm thinking about. What we doing here, man? What we doing here, man? Give me a second, man. Let me do this. Watching the wrong video, fellas. Why y'all ain't let me know? I'm on my, I ain't on my regular. I ain't on my regular thing, man. I ain't on my regular application. Man, I'm in the tripping, man. I had the thing pulled up, bro. I'm tripping. Here we go. Here we go, yo. Here we go. Watching the wrong video, fellas. I'm looking at the video like, hold on, man. I was looking at it. Oh man, y'all give me a second, Joe. Give me a second. Y'all just letting me sit up here talking. Y'all like, man, what you talking about, space? Here we go, yo. All right, fellas. CSGs, man. Y'all ain't know. Tripping.
Sengun,
Let's get
all
it.
that, and we end up for a player that was one of them. You guys know I'm just playing, but
All right, here we go.
Bree Sheppard is the Houston Rocket. We just finished doing a 3.5 hour Rockets watch live stream of the draft. I would say that, obviously you guys can watch our conversations leading up to the draft about the players. Definitely not mad at it. I think Reed was the best fit for the Rockets. I personally was on team trade back. But to me, this is the second best option that they would have had up there for a player that they would have got.
Oh man, bro. Yeah, right, Frank. You feel me? I've been gone too long, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been gone too long, man. I ain't did it on this app either in a minute, man. Y'all just let me rock out up here with the wrong video there. Rookie mistake.
Now,
hold on before we start. If Rapstradamus want to say what's up to the CSGs, he ain't seen y'all in a minute. What's up, Rapstradamus? What's good? How you feeling?
Good.
You good? What the season gonna look like next season?
It's gonna be pretty good.
Gonna be pretty good.
Better than last season.
Better than last season. Are we making the playoffs?
Yes.
All right. Appreciate you, Rapstradamus. He already predicted his first his first prediction of the season already say we're gonna be making the playoffs, man, I can't go against them.
This day started off a little weird, right? There was a lot of weird discussions going on that look kind of crazy now in retrospect. And I want to hear your whole view from the start of the day. The first thing that came out this morning was the Rockets were drafting Klingon. And I heard that. I was like, what the hell is going on? It's 2024. Why are we even considering drafting a drop big with the 3rd overall pick? And then it turned into, even backing up from there, the trade with Brooklyn, and we can get into that. The Şengün trade allegations, the Klingon.
Oh, Frank in the chat. Frank, what you put it down? Reggie Bullock is unlikely to return. Yeah, we don't need Reggie Bullock.
For,
he ain't do
replacing Şengün, all of that, and we end up with Reece Sheppard, man. So it's been a crazy 24 hours. What has been your perspective on everything leading up to that?
Okay, I forgot about that we're talking about the Brooklyn trade too. So
the freaking trade, yeah.
Right. Okay, so are we starting with draft, trade? Like, where should I start?
Let's build it up. Let's start off with the trade, then we'll build up, and sequentially to the draft. So the trade.
So this was for me. I saw the Woj bomb, last night, a couple nights ago, whatever it was, that the Knicks were trading for Bridges, and my first thought, and I even tweeted this, was, oh, that Brooklyn pick is looking pretty. The Nets pulled the trigger. They got a big haul from the Knicks.
Yeah. Speaking of, how y'all feel about the Knicks grabbing Bridges, man? Did y'all want Bridges? I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh man, come on, man. Because I could have sworn if anybody was gonna trade for Bridges, it was gonna be us, and we was gonna be giving them their picks back. But can't crowd spoil milk.
Shout out to Sean Marks. I think he did a great job, to be honest with you. So good for the Nets. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. Rockets are in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. Tweeted it. Boom. Maybe 10 minutes later, maybe not even, we get the news that the Rockets traded their some of the Nets picks back in exchange for some of the Suns picks. And at first I was like, and the reasoning was that Woj was saying, the Rockets want to go big game hunting, use these picks, get a star. And I'm thinking, I guess, like the Nets picks were looking good, whatever. All in all, after sitting on it, so the Rockets confirmed that the Nets made the trade with New York because they had a deal in principle with the Rockets to get their picks back. So they made a calculated decision to tank. So those two moves were connected. It was basically like an unofficial 3-team deal, kind of. So that makes sense. And then you basically swap the 25 Brooklyn swap rights and the 26 Brooklyn pick for 25 swap rights with Phoenix, which will be probably not as good, obviously, as with Brooklyn, but whatever. And then you get a first-round pick from Phoenix in 2027, and then you also get the best of Phoenix or Dallas's first-round pick in 2029 and the right to swap Houston's pick with whichever of those picks is left over between the Phoenix or Dallas pick in 2029. So Houston.
Man, don't it seem like you got to go to some type of trade school, college to keep up with all the madness, with all of the draft pick swaps and who get on the where and who's picking and what? I mean, it's crazy, especially when it's like a multi-layer trade, when you're trading out draft picks for skip years and you can't give up 2 draft picks in consecutive years, first draft picks. And it's like, bruh, it's enough to make your head spin. It's enough to make your head spin, man. And be like, wow, man, just tell me what we got. Just tell me what we got, man. God, dog, why we got to go through all of this?
Houston let's just put it like this. If Phoenix gets the first overall pick, Dallas gets the 5th overall pick, and Houston gets the 10th overall pick in the 2029 draft, Houston gets Phoenix's first overall pick, and then they can swap their 10th overall pick for Dallas's 5th overall pick, and they would essentially move up from the 10th overall pick to having both number 1 and 5. Not bad. And they retain the right to swap with Brooklyn in 2027, which is important because if Brooklyn is going to go full-blown tank and rebuild, which they may not, they may accelerate their rebuild. They may use all this draft capital that they got to make a trade, whatever. But if they don't, if they go, classic rebuild, as Rockets fans, we already know 2 drafts is not enough to fully rebuild, right? And so the 2024 draft just happened. Brooklyn didn't get anybody because we had their pick, haha. But they would have the 2025 pick, 2026 pick, and then that would get you to the 2027 draft. If you remember, after 2 rebuilding tank picks, the Rockets were still one of the worst teams in the NBA, right? So that 2027 swap right with Brooklyn could come in handy. So all in all, I like it. Ultimately, I feel like the Rockets really had full leverage over Brooklyn, and they could have maybe squeezed a little bit more out of it. We'll never know. I wasn't in the room. Overall, I like it, though. The Rockets are basically extending their timeline to use those picks so that they can, keep their optionality open further down the line, see what the young core is able to do this season, and then make some moves from that point, depending on who they decide to extend and what they do with the picks to trade to go get a star or whatever. So that's how I feel about it. What about you?
All right, I'm gonna just for the audience, I'm gonna.
Yeah, that was a good explanation by Roosh. We basically kind of just kicked the can down the road a little bit, left our options open. King name clip 91 in the chat, only 25 likes. Man, y'all hit the like button. Why I'm seeing almost 300 people watching this? You telling me we got 200 people watching this on Twitter? Frank, check that out. 200 people watching this on Twitter. I doubt it, but unless the numbers are just wrong right now, because I got 299 people watching this. But yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, man, hit that like button.
Read out a tweet I put out.
It helps us with the algorithm.
Of detailing where we are right now with our pick situation. So 2024, we have the Brooklyn first round pick swap, which became Reed Sheppard. 2025, the Rockets own their own pick with a Phoenix first round pick swap that basically they get the leftovers of OKC. So OKC gets the first rights to that pick, then whatever's left over from that, we can swap with them. So that's something new. Basically traded Nets swap for a Phoenix swap. 2026, no pick. We have no pick in that draft. From there, 27, we own our own pick. We have a Phoenix unprotected first round pick. And you said a Brooklyn pick swap, right? Because I think I missed that in 27 in the original tweet that I put out. Okay, so we have.
Paying your bills on time raises your credit score, right? Wrong. In fact, this is one of the 3.
Pretty much 3 first round picks, 2 picks and a swap. 28, no change. We have our own pick. And 2029 is another addition, is our own pick plus what you were explaining, the Phoenix unprotected and the Dallas swap rights from that, which so essentially we traded out the Brooklyn picks.
The 20. Okay, that makes sense.
We're short term, closer to us right now in the coming seasons. For the same picks, I think, plus a swap. It's like a swap, right? Pretty much. Or is it net a pick and a swap?
The Rockets add an extra pick in 2029 and a swap in 2029. The swap might not.
So it's like So 29.
Swap might not convey. So.
Yeah. So you pretty much a pick and a half. I'll just say that. To me, now if you're going to look at drafting, if you were focused on drafting quality of a player, some would say, and I agree, that the Brooklyn's path would have been the best path, because what we found out is that Rafael, basically the Rockets said the Knicks trade with Brooklyn couldn't have went through without the Rockets doing their part, which makes sense. You wouldn't trade Mikal away and for that if you knew that you weren't going to be able to control your destiny as a team to tank. So that happened. The quality of the draft, obviously Cooper Flagg being the top pick coming up in the 25 draft, it's probably a better quality because you kind of project there is some good players coming out over the next few years that are projected. Anything can change. To me, what this tells me is that the Rockets are done with drafting young players right now. And the way I perceive it is that they've put themselves in position to trade quality for quantity, because it sounds better if I tell you, hey, bro, I'll take X and X player. I'll give you 6 first-round picks, 5 first-round picks, 3 unprotected and 2 swap, whatever, than just 4 or whatever they were able to do before this. Now, this argument is still up in the air because it doesn't.
Yeah, I agree with Frank right here, man. I think this move should be a telltale sign that we're not trying to really draft too many more young guys. I mean, we got a whole bunch of young guys. We're gonna have a core 9 in a minute if we use all these draft picks, and definitely we're not gonna be able to keep all of these players. So most definitely, I think we're gearing up to do something with these picks, and then maybe hold a pick on the back end on some just in case some stuff might happen. One of God forbid, one of our young guys get hurt or one of our young guys just don't pan out quite to what we think they will be. So we have a draft pick in our back pocket, so to say, in 2027 or a little bit further down the line, where this whole rebuild thing wouldn't just collapse with just one of our young guys going down. So yeah, I think we kind of kicked the can down the road a little bit, but I still think we're going to use the bulk of these assets and even maybe a player or two to actually bring in a quality vet that can be that alpha for us.
Doesn't mean it's automatically successful, but I like it because it's appropriate for where they are as a franchise right now. We cannot keep drafting players, and this will touch on some of the Reed Sheppard stuff. They basically said, we want to win, and we are putting ourselves in position to go get the assets to do so. And we don't think drafting is the best path to winning right now. So the way I look at it, they give a 2-year window, about a year or two, of assessing their current players. And then you're waiting out to see what shakes this next summer and the summers after that, because you have picks, your own picks, you have Phoenix's picks and some swaps, and they have young players. So to me, this is the first big win now move that the Rockets have made in this process. Signing Fred was a stabilizing move. Let's just get our feet back under us, deal and all that. This trade was a win now trade. That's how I perceive it. That's how I'm looking at it.
It's win now, but it's not a move that's going to be made now. I don't think.
Right.
And I agree right there. I agree with exactly what Ruth said. It's a win now move, but it's not something that we would actually do now. It's more for later, a little bit later, maybe mid-season, All-Star break, and maybe possibly next summer.
Right, exactly. It's
You know
like
what I mean?
pivot to winning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think that's a good way to put it, right? They basically said, hey, we need quantity, which they do, because people were all, I think people had it a little twisted, thinking like, hey, the Rockets have this treasure chest of picks. They really didn't. They basically had one pick per year for, I don't know, however many years. But they had a surplus of picks, and they kind of used some of them in the first couple years of the rebuild. They used a couple to go get Şengün. They did some wheeling and dealing. But they were basically averaging one pick per year, and that's not enough. If they want to go trade for a star, that's not enough. They're going to have to include one, maybe two players out of the young core that they probably didn't want to have to include. So
Agreed. I agree totally.
By going out and getting some more draft capital, you put yourself in a position where you can trade those picks. And the fact that they're so far out in the future, I think, is probably more attractive on the market, because the uncertainty of the picks means like, hey, man, they could still be valuable, Yep. Whereas when the picks are closer, this year's pick, next year's pick, you really got to make sure that the team you're trading those picks to intends to use those picks soon, because if they don't have any use for them, and then the value of them is lower and you can't make the deal, right? So I like it. Like I said, I wish they would have gotten a little more. I felt like they could have stared Brooklyn down and dared Brooklyn to try to win some games and see how that was going to go for them. And make them crawl back to the table and be like, yo, now give us what you got. But at the end of the day, I like it. I mean, we have to keep it real. Brooklyn, had the Rockets not gotten lucky with the odds falling the way they did, Houston would have the 9th pick this draft, not the 3rd pick, right? The East is going to be weak again, most likely. So Brooklyn could either make a play-in or be like the 11 or 12 seed, right? Is all that worth trying to get Cooper Flag, especially when – you have a team that you've built and you got to weigh that against the 14% chance at Cooper Flag? Probably not, right? So I'm cool.
With the Phoenix Suns, I think with this team, that's one of the positive I like from this trade, because the team that they picked to engage the extension of picks with is one that is incredibly unstable right now. Now, as you pointed out, I don't think there is in a bad a situation as people try to paint it out to see. At the end of the day, they still have three-star level players. So they're not Brooklyn as Brooklyn is right now, dying to get off of Mikal Bridges so they can tank. So I can see why some people are mad and say you would have just let Brooklyn just sink and just reap the benefits from that. But there's two players. One of them was rumored, which was Kevin Durant, to be a target for the Rockets. That was dispelled as not being true. And then the one that did come out as a target for the Rockets or a player they'd be interested in future is Devin Booker. So kind of a subplot of this that led to the idea of trading one of our players, whether Jalen or Şengün, is the fact that, what you're talking about. At some point, the whole saying says you gotta take a dump or get off the pot. And I think that starts like this season for the Rockets.
I agree right there, man. I agree wholeheartedly with Frank. It's this season. The rubber is about to hit the road. It's about to meet the road. This is when it's going to get tough. This is when Stone and Udoka is going to have to come to the table with the whole front office, see what they can get, and project out what do you think we're going to be, who we're going to pay, who we're not. Let's get some real quality guys in there so we can actually start competing. And we're done with the whole draft and rebuild era. Let's officially move into the second stage, because last year we kind of opened the door to the second phase of the rebuild, but we're not actually there yet. And I think acquiring some of these actual actually good quality players, the Boban's gone, Holiday gone, maybe even Landale gone. People, those players like that, then we know that we're actually ready to compete when we don't have these type of quality players on the roster.
Really no more prospect or potential.
The Lakers are interested in trading for Brook Lopez. Oh man, forget Brook Lopez, man. He put us in a pinch last year.
It is now. Like you've been a 500 team. We just seen, Ime Udoka. I never missed a playoff.
Yeah, I can't watch this whole video, so I'm gonna move.
Fans that, hey, the gamble on Brooklyn melting down.
Even though they, if y'all haven't, man, go rewatch this podcast with Frank and Roosh, man. It's full of nuggets. It's just one point I want to watch.
Player to find in the NBA is one who can score and create for others at a high level, right? Score, be an engine, two birds, one stone, run your offense.
Oh, here you go, right here. I'm talking about Şengün.
Me is the players specifically in target. Kevin Durant, this season is going to be 36, and he has not played more than 55 games. He has only played more than 55 games once in the last 5 years, I think, and he's getting older, right? So, like, that's not good. And then Devin Booker is the other player, right? For me personally, I think the hardest type of player to find in the NBA is one who can score and create for others at a high level, right? Score, be an engine, two birds, one stone, run your offense, be your best scorer, whatever. We talked about this on the last episode. There's different tiers of those kinds of players, right? Şengün's not in like the Luka tier. But Şengün is in the lower tier of that type of player he's only 21, right? With potential to continue to get better and add to his game. Hardest type of player to find. When you find that type of player, if you let that player go, you better know who's going to replace them as the engine of your team. Because if you don't, case in point, Phoenix, things get a little ugly if all you have is just a bunch of buckets, right? A bunch of dudes that score. There's more to basketball than scoring points. You have to build a team. So if you're going to trade Şengün for Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, both of those guys are finishers. We talked about this on the last episode. Playmakers, creators, play finishers. Both of those guys are finishers. They can do some creating, sure, but they're not running your offense, right? So that would give me concern. You get Devin Booker, let's say. Okay. What else? Like, is that the final piece? Because that doesn't seem like a complete team to me. You still got to do more. The other thing that would be disappointing about a trade if Şengün is the guy that gets traded in a move like that is Jalen Green. Sorry, pause for a minute. Jalen Green. You drafted Jalen Green to become Devin Booker. So if you then got to trade Alperen Sengun to go get Devin Booker when you have Jalen Green, who you thought was going to be Devin Booker, it's a tough pill to swallow for me, because it's just like, damn, you used the number 2 pick on a player that you thought was going to be this player, and now you got to trade your best player, best young prospect, right, and other picks just to go get that player. So
I totally understand what Roosh is saying. I totally understand what he's saying right here, and I don't disagree, with him in that aspect. Yeah, it'll be a disappointment that you use the number 2 pick to get a Devin Booker, to think that you have the next Devin Booker, and then you have to trade Sengun, which is probably your best player on the team right now, to get that said guy. Yeah, and I agree that will be a bit of a disappointment. It really would be. But the reason we got to look at the big picture, the reason why you get so many draft picks and you get so many assets, is because if one of them don't work out, if it don't work out, it's like you hedging your bet. If this doesn't work, then we still have something else that we can fall on, and we can actually move, and we won't be hampering our team because we didn't put all the eggs in one basket. Now we got other assets to move to get better, and everything theoretically, you can say this is what he's going to be, but you really don't know. The old Miss Jackson line, you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather, so you have to carry an umbrella. And doing this type of trade to get that guy that you need is just, it started raining on your picnic, but you are prepared because now you have an umbrella to shelter you from the rain. And so I totally get what Rooch is saying, and I don't disagree with him, but this is why we have so many other picks and other assets to get off a guy like Jalen Green if you can't get him. But I don't disagree with what Roosh is saying.
So it's just kind of like an inefficient use of the assets. That would be disappointing to me. Now, if you can pull that trade off without sending Alperen Sengun over, and without sending one of like an Amen Thompson or something over, Sengun and Book, that is interesting to me. That would be fun, especially if you surround them with, the other guys on the team, whoever would be left over that doesn't get traded. We have a stable of defensive wings, guys that are interchangeable, switchable, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", strong, long. Some of them can shoot, some of them can dribble, get out in transition, versatile lineups, all of that, right? Complement Sengun very well. And then you'd have Devin Booker give you 25 a night on top of that efficiently. That becomes interesting.
I agree with him right there. That is an interesting duo.
He is fabulous. I think all the analytics, great basketball player. I think he's going to be a great NBA player. The reason I think he's a
let's get to Reed Sheppard
all day, but prior to that, it was a lot of Reed Sheppard from a lot of different people. There was possibly some other trade backs. You had the Memphis thing, whereas a lot of strong sources were saying the Rockets and the 9th pick with Memphis. A lot of cap going around in the air. We get to the draft and we pick Reed Sheppard. And I wasn't super surprised by the Reed pick in my just because I felt like my algorithm, and I've said this to multiple people, my first thing, try to trade back and get assets and draft a player, a player you can use that fits you well. If that doesn't work, Reed Sheppard. If that doesn't work, then you possibly could look at Klingon. But what I found out, and after the fact, is that the Rockets actually had Reed as their first algorithm, then to trade back. But I don't know if that's cap or not. I call cap on that. I'm just going to say that on there. But getting Reed Sheppard, I think, for the Rockets, I'm going to explain my perspective again so people can understand my view on Reed Sheppard. I think Reed is fabulous. I think.
Listen to what Frank says right here, and is telling. And I agree with him wholeheartedly about Reed Sheppard. Since we had to draft him, I do agree with him from what he said at first that I think I would have traded out of the pick and just drafted a guy. But since we got him, I think Frank's analysis is spot on, just like he always is. Frank is always spot on with these type of assessments on players.
All the analytics, great basketball player. I think he's going to be a great NBA player. The reason I think he's a reach at the 3rd pick, just overall, I think he's a great fit for Rocket. I'm glad we got him. and I think he's going to really help us win games. A player like him on this team, on our team that we have, he's never going to get the full opportunity that the Jalen Greens got or Cade Cunninghams or Paulo Bancheros of that top 5, top 3 pick type of player to really use the fullness of their skill set. So for me, for Reed Sheppard, what I'm seeing from what he's going to bring for the Rockets early on is that how fast can he get into his niche? And for me, from all the comments I'm seeing the Rockets say, they like him as a ball handler potentially, as a shooter obviously, and a defender. I think he's going to be a guy that is going to be supportive of the cast they already have to start, and you hope that over the years he can scale up. But to me, this is a great fit because he addresses ball handling in the backcourt off the bench. You're going to have a shooter that's going to be able to shoot on movement that we've been begging for Lord knows how long. I think
Frank, you ain't out here putting out parody accounts sources, are you? Hater Central.
he's the first of his archetype that we've had on this roster since Garrison Matthews. And you guys know I hate Garrison Matthews. So this is definitely a big.
To be clear, before the comments kill you, you're not comparing him.
No. I'm just saying the archetype, a movement shooter. We haven't, for the type of players we have, Jalen, rim pressure, Alp, Dope getting triple team. Not having a movement shooter with Şengün as you're trying to play a kind of a weird Şengün hub is criminal. So off of that alone, like the dude just makes sense for the Rockets. Like he's coming in to fit that role, and I think that the upside for him is some of the other stuff, the pull-up middies, the ball handling, the transition passing, the pick and roll. I don't know if he's going to get to run that early in his career, but overall, I think that for drafting him, the Rockets had him graded as the highest player. Stone said in his post-game comments that the Rockets have him quite a bit ahead of everybody else, the number one player on their board.
To be fair, Frank, Stone always says Stone always says that to make it seem like, oh, we got the guy we wanted. This is the guy we wanted. He even said that, if I'm not mistaken, about Jabari, and we all know he was pining for a Banchero. he took bro out to eat. He did everything. And 6C, Charlie, y'all will be able to talk. Right after this, give me like 3 minutes.
I would still take Sarr, number one. But I think for the Rockets, this was a great pick, and I'm nothing to be mad at. I think he's going to be a great fit for this Rockets team. I'm just ready for camp to start to see what role he has for them. What was your overall perception on Reed in the third pick?
Right after Roos.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm excited to watch the summer league team. Previously, I was not. That was not on my radar. Now, if it was going to be clinging, like I'd watch the summer league, but big man in summer league, whatever. But now, okay. So with me, I'm with you. I was on team trade back. I thought the only two players that stood out to me, and I didn't do a deep dive on every prospect on the list, so take that for what it's worth. But the two players with potential star upside to me were Sarr and Sheppard, right? Their likelihood of hitting that upside, I have no idea, but those were the two. So I had said I was cool with whatever the Rockets were going to do, and I'm cool with Reed Sheppard. Trading back, pick up more assets, that's one option. But if the Rockets really think, like, look, this pick is playing with house money. So for me, don't go with the safe pick. If you think someone has star upside, take the swing, because if it doesn't work out, oh well, right? They need a movement shooter. They need a shooter, period. There was some stat that we saw where Reed Sheppard is – like the third player, I think, in NCAA history or something like that.
To have 40% from three, one of those random arbitrary.
Yeah. It was like 16 points, 6 assists, something like that.
Ties his shoes and bunny knots and wears one sock higher than another. But yes, it
was like 60-something% TS, but it was Tyrese Halliburton, Steph Curry, Reed Sheppard. What is that stat worth? I have no idea, but it's an interesting one.
It's very interesting.
But it's exciting, right? Yeah, they get a player, they get a prospect with star upside, and that has been the whole MO of the tank of the rebuild, right? Is like try to find as many players with star upside as you can find, see what happens. I do think on the topic of movement shooting, I think it's unfortunate that we haven't seen them try to deploy Jabari Smith as a movement shooter. I think there is potential there. Maybe not as a three-point movement shooter, although I think he can, but definitely as a inside the range as a movement shooter, he can do that. But they need a three-point shooter. They need a movement shooter. I mean, they need a shooter. They haven't had shooting, and this guy addresses that at the very least. And then if he can, hit his upside, you get a point guard, you get someone who can run offense, you get someone who can complement Şengün simply by being able to shoot, you get someone who can complement Amen Thompson by handling the ball, also being able to shoot, playing alongside him. At the very, very worst, you get someone who can do what Aaron Holiday did last season, which was make threes. I think he was the best or one of the best three-point shooters on the Rockets roster last season. And we saw at times how sometimes the Rockets just needed somebody to knock down an open three-point shot, even if he was 6 feet tall, which Aaron Holiday was and is, just to win some games, right? Like there were times earlier in the season, halfway through the season, where Jalen Green was getting benched because they just needed someone to catch and shoot the open three and make it. And Holiday could do that. And at the time, Jalen was not doing it. So if Reed Sheppard can do that, great. He can find his role right away. But I'm excited, man. I mean, the upside, we talked about this on Rockets Watch, but kind of reminds me of upside kind of reminds me of Mark Price, if anyone is old enough to remember Mark Price. But I love, just a little white guy shooting, This rebuild has been missing. The core of the rebuild has been missing an American white guy. We have Şengün.
I've literally said that verbatim on the channel. We need a white shooter. Like every good team, bro, you need a white shooter, bro. But yeah, go ahead.
You need a white shooter. My mind was on hey, Dalton Connect, white shooter. He's a little.
I agree with that. For some reason, the JJ Redicks and that mode of guys, the little white guys that move around and shoot threes, they're effective at what they do, man. They're effective at what they do. Now we're right at the hour mark. This like I said earlier, man, this podcast is gold. If you haven't yet, go ahead and watch it and see what they talking about on that, man, because it's actually golden podcast. If you're not been keeping up with the team. Now, it's about that time, y'all. Y'all go ahead and hit the link. Come on up. Who we got in here? Let me change the format. Oh, my boy. What's happening, Frank?
What's good, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
All right, bet. What's been good, man? Street's been asking where Space at, man. I've been coming up with all sort of. Oh man, yeah, he moving. Oh man, yeah. I was running out of things to say, bro.
He ran out of excuses.
I was coming up with stuff, man. You done moved and got a promotion. You had family you had to go visit, bro. I done ran out of things to say, bro. Like, they was starting to get where I was gonna come find you, bro. Put together a CSG search and rescue.
Straight up, man.
Glad to see you back, bro. We need
already, it, man. I'm gonna try to make this at least a Sunday thing, man. But
don't make no promises, bro. Just let them know.
I say I'm gonna try. Man, bro. Because
real life stuff, bro.
Yeah, man. It's just my job, man. They've been demanding, and it's hard when I'm getting off at 8:00 every day, and but that's neither here nor there. I didn't go nowhere. I didn't leave Frank stranded. I didn't leave y'all stranded, man. I just been doing some things, bro. But yeah, man, that was a great podcast you and Roosh had, man. And if you want to reiterate what you were saying, go ahead and reiterate what you were saying in that podcast, or if something you didn't get to, you can go ahead and let the CSGs know about it.
No, the main thing about Reed Sheppard, I think I'm gonna be consistent with my points as him. One thing I've learned over this 3-4 year period, bro, is that we got to stand on business when you make a take, or because sometimes we're gonna be wrong. Sometimes I think most of the time, me and you, we've been pretty on point with everything, and so like people think if you say something that's not like super, oh man, he's gonna be the next insert Hall of Fame player that you don't like the player. Nah, bro. If this rebuild hasn't taught y'all anything, is that you have to have a bit of pessimism about the development arc of these players. And if they develop into what your upside is, then I mean, you'd be pleasantly surprised. But the NBA is really, really hard. I think people they do this every year during the draft. We see these players in context of college. We extrapolate their college production and copy and paste it into the NBA, and that's just not realistic. And historically, it's not accurate. All that to say, I think Reed is going to be a great NBA player. I think he fits a big need for the Rockets. I think he's probably the best fit for the Rockets, other than a stretch big that could shoot. And I think that he's going to struggle on defense in the NBA, and I think that's going to be a lifelong thing for him. He's small. And I've been watching full game films, like in detail, breaking, like going clip by clip, because I'm going to try to do a breakdown of his game, pick maybe 1 or 2 games. And the defense is going to be a problem. But I think Rafael Stone chose his words carefully, because he wasn't, when he was talking, he said something that he believes our collective length is going to cover up for Reed. Nobody asked him about Reed's defense. He said that unprovoked, because he knows, because he's in his post, he was trying to dispel all the kind of criticisms that people would say. First, he said he's an NBA player. Nobody said he wasn't, but he said he's an NBA athlete. Yeah, he came out and said that. He said that he believes our length is going to cover up for some of his size issues. But those are things that you got to read between the lines. He's telling you that
he's not a good defender.
Yeah, those are, that and his perceived weakness is his size. As good as no matter how good of a defender you are, you always, size is a thing, right? Fred VanVleet gets cooked by bigger wings. They just shoot over him over and over. Like, he's a great defender. If he can get the steal, then great. But as great of a defender as he's going to get cooked. I say all that to say, in the context of our team, you start playing with lineups that you want to look at him on. And to me, him and Amen Thompson are going to be tied to the hip, bro. I think that 2-man combo of him and Amen in the backcourt, that's what it is. And to me, that's why you can make that type of pick, because you have Amen Thompson back there with him. I wouldn't put Reed out there with Jalen and Fred or and Şengün and stuff. Like, you got to really have some strong defenders around him, because I think what he brings offensively, that's another thing I found out watching the video and breaking him down. And it was a dude on Twitter that was like, because I said something positive. I try to be unbiased. I said something like, man, I didn't know Reed was such a great passer. And he was like, well, you've been basically criticizing his game, and you haven't watched, you didn't watch any film on him. And I had to explain to him, guys, when I watch the Rockets play live, I watch it like y'all, like a fan, right? I miss a lot of stuff. I could watch all the Rockets games, but for me to make a video, I have to go back and watch the same plays over and over. It takes I could watch one game in 4 hours. So I've sat down and watched games I think I watched him versus Mississippi State. I watched him versus Oakland. I just watched some of different games. He's a talented passer. The transition 3-point shooting is super elite. I think that's probably his best skill as a shooter, is the transition pull-ups. And the defense is going to be a thing. And the reason that's so important for me is that he plays for Ime Udoka. We could throw everything else out the window saying that Ime doesn't care who you are, what you do. You could average 50 points a game. If you're hurting the team on defense, it's going to be hard to see the court. So I think for Reed, it's always going to come down to his defense. And even if he's a great shooter, a spacer, it's going to come down to his defense. So I'm just curious to see what lineups they play him with out there. I think he's going to be on that wingy lineup with a bunch of switchable guys. And I think if you put him in context of that, his IQ on defense is going to help him, just like with Şengün. That's one thing I'm high on him, his IQ. So I think he'll be fine overall. But I just don't want people to put too much expectations on him. They start calling him a bust when the dude isn't playing, or he's getting a little bit of minutes, or they start calling for Ime's job because he isn't playing him. Bro, the dude, he got some things he got to work on. He's a rookie and he's 19. So, but I'm really excited about this summer league and this season, bro. Because like you said in your monologue, we've addressed everything, bro. I think we pretty much have a full team, and it's time for us to see what we got.
Yeah, I think one key piece that Uncle Mike from Twitter will be ecstatic about is Jalen Smith. I think if we was to, because I don't know much about the two-way guy we signed from. Where he come from, man? I can't even remember. What is his name? Inde. I think he's
from
Nigerian or
Oregon.
something like
Yeah,
that.
from
What's his
Oregon.
name?
Nadal,
Oh yeah, yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
Oregon.
He ain't gonna see no minutes, but yeah,
Yeah,
he
like I don't think he's
he
gonna
ain't go,
see the
yeah.
court. You know
Nah,
what
he
I
ain't
mean?
G League star. Yeah,
Right. So if we can get Jalen Smith, then I think that rim protecting big that can actually, because he can shoot a little bit, stretch big, and a good solid backup. Because I don't know, I'm not sure we got a good solid backup center yet. Yeah, I know we got Steven Adams and them guys, but I just
yeah.
think Jalen Smith to be that perfect type of
We,
guy that
we
we
we don't
need.
have that vertical spacer. That's still what I'm waiting for them to sign because I've seen we got all the same archetype of centers, just a bunch of like drop big guys. I think ideally they'd want something like. I still think they're gonna get another center. I possibly can see them moving off of Londale because we just got too many of the same types, bro. But Jalen Smith would be too perfect for this team because he gives you that small ball they played when Şengün was down. You put him in place of Jabari because that gives you a little bit of rim protection, a real lob threat, an athlete. To me, that's real, bro. Like you could really do some damage with that.
Yeah, I agree, man. I don't know why. Can we not have more than 4 people up here? Because every time I bring somebody up, somebody else drop out.
Nah, I'm not sure.
I
Let's
mean, they let
see.
us put them on stage, but
We
one of
got
them,
5 right now.
yeah, one of them always end up dropping out. It's
You
like
know,
switch it
I don't
out.
know if it's Charlie. Some of them be having issues with the app, but that's always been the case. But it looked like EF is staying on. We got Brown Christmas on, and then Charlie.
Right.
So they staying on right now. I think it's probably their connection though on there.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure. But yeah, man, I agree with your your read assessment all the way through, especially in that video. If I had my choice, I think I probably would have just opted out of that number 3 spot. It was like a gift and a curse this year for us to get the number three spot. So if we could have just backed out, traded back to I guess 10th or something like that, we still would have got a guy that's not gonna really see too much uh playing time, but the expectations wouldn't be there with the number 3 pick. People gonna be like, man, they spent the number 3 pick on a guy that's only getting 6 minutes a game, 7 minutes a game. So it's like it was a gift and a curse, man. But since we got him, I do think he do fit what we need. Little, like y'all said, little white guy running around, getting the ball, shooting it. The dude shot 2% from the three in Kentucky. I'm like, and that type of shooting I think will translate. It's just he's gonna have to figure out. He's gonna have to reset a lot because the players are bigger, longer, faster. Once he figured that out, his angles and things like that, and his launching point, how to get over longer players and stuff. I think he's gonna be pretty good for what we need on this team. But I agree with you, Frank. EF Hutton, what's good, EF?
What's up? What's up, everybody?
Man, what
Man, good,
this boy got?
good to see
Bro,
y'all back, man.
EF always coming with some new stuff, man. How you get
boy
your
got the
avatar up there talking?
AI
Man,
avatar.
yeah, I've been working on some stuff. I try to stay working on my new little animation and stuff like that. That's what I do though.
Oh
But
man, what you got for me? EF?
hey, I just wanted, I wanted to come here. You know what I mean? I don't want to blow my own horn because that's mad pause. But back before March Madness started, I called this. You know what I mean? I named 5 players. I think 5 players that I thought that was a must get for the Rockets: Reed Sheppard, Kyle Filipowski, Donovan Clingan, Zach Edey, um, and somebody else. But my point was the stuff that we said all last year, that we needed to address those spots. We needed to address our shooting. Actually, at the time before March Madness started, Reed Sheppard was actually shooting 59% from three before March Madness. So and the league is getting bigger. It's the thing that I always say about having to not try to follow the trend, but try to set the bar and break the league. So if the league is getting bigger, you see you got Wembanyama, you got we still got Rudy Gobert, Carl Anthony Towns over in um Minnesota, and then you got 3, 4 guys coming out that 6'2" or above in the draft. I was saying, hey, look, we need to try to get one of these guys. If we don't feel like Reed Sheppard is going to be successful in the NBA, we need to try to get one of these bigs. Now I know most people saying it's not a good draft. It's not a good draft, but sometimes it's certain things you can't teach. And Reed's feel for the game is something that you really can't teach. That's something you got to start doing at a young age. So what happens with Reed Sheppard is, um, I don't know if I was, consistently comparing him to Mark Price. I've consistently compared him to maybe a Steve Kerr, players like that. It's certain, like everybody say, that one white guy on the basketball team in high school, you know what I mean, and in college, that always shooting the three, and you like, I'm gonna pass him the ball no matter what. That's what we needed on our team. Is that when Jalen or Fred VanVleet is on the court with this person, and as soon as somebody double team them, they thinking, oh yeah, Reed can probably knock this down. And that's going to change their confidence. That's going to change their decision making. It's going to make them make faster decisions. So all that come into play. Uh, so
Yeah.
what I mean, to me, it was a great draft. Um, like I said, I would have. I'm pretty sure they exploited. And maybe you drop back to 4. Try to get 4 and 8 from San Antonio, and maybe you get 2 of those guys that maybe a Reed Sheppard or a Klingon and a Dalton Connect or something like that, where you could have got a shooter and a big. But all in all, it's great. I think Adrian Griffin was a guy that we all looked at in the other draft. Supposed to be probably the best wing shooter in that draft, and we ended up with him also. So I'm ecstatic to see how we gonna do going forward. I just want to say, Frank, man, you and Roosh been going ham. You know what I mean? Y'all been doing the fool on the streams, and good to see you back, Ghost. I was gonna let Uncle Charlie go, man, but I wanted to make me sweat a little bit.
If you haven't seen, man, Frank just put in the chat that Cade Cunningham just got a $5,226,000 rookie extension. God, bro,
Yeah, we not
that's
we not extending Jalen and LP. They say they're gonna make them wait.
not. I mean, because man, before
Yeah,
I
I
go to
mean,
Uncle Charlie, man, Frank, how you feel about that trade?
I mean every
I mean
team
that sign.
every team situation different. I think the Clippers, because they're so bad, so desperate, such a team that hasn't had any reason for hope, that Kate Cunningham is their lone bright light. So they had to go in and secure the bag, because otherwise, if they lose him, they out of there. We have a much more um, favorable situation, so we don't have to follow the damn Pistons. You know what I mean? That's their business. You feel me? So the Rockets, we have options. We got a great coach, continuity. We have a plethora of young players. They fit well. We got some vets. So it's a different situation, different people. I'm on the same page. I think if they don't have to, they don't have to sign LP this year. The money's still gonna be there. And yeah, I'm not like dead set on them getting extended this summer for Shangoon. For Jalen, to me, he got to prove it this year for sure, and step his game up a little bit. And then, yeah, if he earned his contract, then he should get it. But I don't think they should do anything this summer either.
Man, and then another thing he put that Eric Gordon is going to the 76ers. Man, that's I think PG is in line for them to make that type of move. What do you think about that, Frank?
Yeah, I was a little bummed. I thought EG was gonna come home. I heard a little chatter about him possibly wanting to come back to Houston. I guess they couldn't get a deal done, but we got enough guards, so I guess it makes sense. But good luck to him. You know what I mean? That'll be a good spot for him reunited with Daryl Morey.
Hey, I ain't gonna I ain't gonna sweat it, man. I was kind of glad he didn't come back because his mannerisms on the court, like I didn't. LP already kind of got the Luka Eric Gordon thing to where when he get fouled, he want to throw his hands up, and I don't want everybody to get into that Eric Gordon face habit. I'm glad he gone.
Yeah. Hey, Mod, if you can pin that link, the restream link, at the top of the chat, and so people can come in if they want to come in and talk. So I won't have to keep posting it. What's up, Uncle 6C? Can I still call you 6C, Charlie, or no?
Yeah, you can still call me that, man.
Charlie, you got to update it. What
I
season
got
we coming in this year, Charlie?
I gotta say something, man. I hope y'all don't get mad at me for what I got to say. I've been waiting on this.
Oh,
Lord
go ahead.
knows I've been waiting on this. So please don't get mad. Now, before I start, God bless all of y'all on the panel. Everybody that's dealing with Chop Shop. We missed you, man. We missed everybody on there and stuff and getting a chance to talk. Now, I'm finna get into it. I'm sick of this getting picks. Oh, we gonna do something with it and don't do a thing with it. Oh, we gonna do this. Oh, we gonna do that. I'm tired of all of that. For 4 years in a row, I can't sit back and brag about the Rockets because we're not in there. They said last year, "Oh, go entering a new phase." What did we do? We won some games, but we didn't enter into anything. My problem is Jalen Green. Every year for 4 straight years, he only come on in the second half. Yeah, I trade him for Devin Booker. Yeah, I sure will. Because I know Bookends is going to do what he's supposed to do all season long. I'm tired of this. We need to wait and see what we got. For 4 years, we've been waiting. You know what you got. You know what's going on. Now, Shingun, I'll give him the money. I'm tired of hearing people talk about the money because if you want a good team, you're going to have to pay for it. That's bottom line. Any of the other good teams, they pay for it. But the thing that's going on with us, what good is these picks if you ain't doing nothing with it? And oh, we getting ready. We said that last year. We said that the year before. We said that the year before. I'm sick of this, man. I'm sick of it. Now, like y'all told me last year when I was hollering 6 seed, y'all was right. I should have shut up. There wasn't no 6 seed because Jalen Green didn't do nothing. And even now, I don't see no videos of him in the gym walking up the street with his baby and that girl. I'm sick of that, man. You know, if you're going to be what you said, I want to be rookie of the year. I'm going to be the face of the team. Then show me what you're going to do. He didn't show me nothing. That's what ran Shingun in the ground. Pay Shingun. That's what I say do. Pay him, and we do need a vet. I heard y'all what y'all saying about Kevin Durant. The reason why I would love to get him if it's not going to cost us our good young players is because the same thing that Fred VanVleet did, he can teach them how to win. We need somebody that can teach them how to win. And somebody when Jalen Green is sitting around there twiddling his thumbs and got his thumb up his butt, you got somebody that can carry the team because we could have made the playoffs this year. He's the reason why we didn't make it. Frank, you know, he was cussing Roosh out because Roosh called him out for playing like dog mess, for a better word, because I'm not going to sit back and curse on your thing. But that's the way that I'm starting to feel this year. Now, as far as Reed Sheppard, I don't know nothing about him. I'm on the okay. I'll see when he starts to play. I'm gonna watch Summer League. I'm hoping that he's what y'all say he is. But man, the Rockets organization has been sitting around there selling us on this. Be patient next year. Be patient next year. They've been saying that 4 years, man. I'm done. So let y'all talk. I was just waiting to see get a chance to say what I had to say. Love you, Frank and Space, because I sure been asking what in the world happened to my favorite rocket station. They ain't here no more. But I'm glad that you back, and I understand that you got to take care of your family, man. That comes first. That's why I pray for you, Frank, and everybody. I'm just mad that what's going on, and plus I'm mad that they didn't put y'all up there where when they interviewing them, y'all can say something because y'all, you and Frank them have a lot to say. Woosh does too. So okay, let me shut up. Y'all can cuss me out.
Nah, you was
Uncle
cooking,
Charlie, you came
Hey,
back and
man.
set it on
Char-
fire.
hey, Charlie, what what seed? Or you gonna wait till we get closer to training camp to give us a prediction of the seed we gonna be in?
Okay, I'm finna tell you. You know what I say? Is the seed is gonna be 12. We
Nah,
gonna be 12.
you gonna play the
No,
under?
We gonna be 12. We ain't
don't
making
do
no
this like
playoffs, man. We ain't making
Oh
none.
damn, Charlie.
No,
no
I
man,
I'm
don't
see
do
telling
it
you.
reverse
like that.
psychology. Got it. Got it.
I'm
Got it.
telling you, man, the reason why we ain't gonna make the playoffs, the first 8 that made it to this year that just passed, we couldn't beat on none of them except for Denver from time to time. You still can't beat Golden State, and they finna get Paul George. The Lakers finna get Clay, and all we got is AJ Griffin or AJ Johnson, whatever his name is. That ain't enough. That ain't going to turn around and get us off in there doing anything. You can't look backwards like you said, Frank, on one of your things. We can't sit back and wait for the NBA to let us lift up. Look at OKC. They even got Caruso, somebody we could use for sorry Giddy. We could have gave you a couple of players and give up a pick. Then you give all your picks back for stuff to way back down. And man, I can't stand that, man. That was crazy. You know, I can understand Brooklyn said no. You can't make a person kiss you when you don't want to kiss you. But come on, man. Don't help them with what they need. They didn't help us. So man, I'm telling you, I'm real upset at what it is that they're doing because to me, there's no direction on what it is. They keep selling everybody on this. Be patient. We gonna do. We don't know what we got. When a person turn around and show you who they are, believe them the first time. Jalen Green is not going to do no more than what Jalen Green is doing. You know, last thing, and I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and talk. But don't y'all remember he had people over there selling him a grill for his mouth at halftime of a game? What the hell are you doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm just done, man. I'm on now, Frank and Space. Show me now. Show me. That's all I can say. I want to be wrong, but show me. I can't take and stomach another year of watching us do this, and then he come on in the second half, and everybody, ooh, he gonna be good. We heard that stuff before, so I'm shutting up.
Oh man, Frank, you want to take it? I don't think I can
Nah,
follow
he
that.
ain't said nothing that's a lie. He ain't. You know what I mean?
No, he didn't.
All fair statements, and I think I had talked to this. Well, maybe not on air, but this is somebody put a thing out bragging about Rafael Stone and the job he's done, and he's done a great job accumulating assets and talent in the context of where we were coming out of the James Harden trade. And you know, what I mean, now they got to show it. You feel me? It's like some people's end game in this basketball space is draft, and that's all they live for. Like draft, draft, draft. We got to draft. So they get so fixated on having picks and getting this prospect. But once the prospects get into the NBA, they just stop caring about them, about whatever they do in the league, and they just on to the next year's prospects. I'm not, you know, I'm an NBA guy. That's why I really don't watch college too much. I focus on how prospects and picks translate to actual winning. And I think as far as winning, we haven't really overshot anything. You feel me? We're if I think at best we're on par to be where we are, finishing 41-41. And this year they have to make the playoffs for the season to be a success. Or you're going on 5+ years of being a non-playoff team, which is borderline bad franchise. Like as far as half a decade, that's a long time. So this is the year, man. There's no excuses this year for anybody, for none of our players. The only players that may have some excuses are the rookies and the sophomores because they still babies. But as far as Jalen and Shangoon, hell, Jabari and Tari, Coach Adoka, Rafael Stone, Fred, I mean, bro, go out there and compete. You know what I mean? You got to win. And there's really nothing, no excuse, nothing left to say. We are at the point in this rebuild where it's win or go home. And I expect the front office to be according with that, because I don't think they're gonna. If there's a move to be made to make this team better, I would not blame Rafael Stone for doing it. Or if Udoka wants to play a vet over, I mean, all that stuff, like all that stuff they were doing, is out the window. I know for a fact Coach Udoka doesn't want to miss the playoffs again. So it's where we are, and it's time for them to show what accumulation means. Right, you've accumulated talent. Now let's see what it can do. I have a good feeling about our season this year, though. I feel like we're going to have a good year. I think last year was promising. I think our players are working hard. So it's just for them to deliver now. And I'm confident. I think we are going to make the playoffs. I think that Shangoon is going to have a all NBA level year. I love the videos I'm seeing of him. I think Jalen Green is going to be more consistent. I just have a good feeling about all our young guys. And I think the young other guys, Aman, Cam, Reed, is just there's so much competition that if you chilling right now in the summer, there's a Rockets young guy, then you just screwing your career over, because it's a dog eat dog world in that locker room. So yeah, I expect them to come out and go get it. So I'm happy.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. I think Uncle Charlie is a little bit shell shocked from last season. He sold real high last season, and now he's guarding himself for the letdown, so he's going real low. And I don't blame him, because I think Frank last season, I think we had them about 12th or 11th, right around where they finished at. But I did think we was going to win a few more games than we did. But I think we finished about where I thought we would finish at. You know, I didn't think we was going to be a 6 seed, fourth seed. I know some people were saying fifth seed. But I think this year coming up, I think we have a legitimate case to be at least the seventh, eighth seed in being the. I kind of want to miss the whole play in um part of it, but if we have to get in through the play in, then I won't be mad, because at least we putting our hat in that ring, even though we know we're quite a ways away from being like an actual contender. But at least we'll see that step, that necessary step that officially stamp us. Okay, we're back now. We still need a move here, move there, maybe consolidate some of these picks, get a guaranteed guy that's been there and done that, some type of superstar or star or mid-tier star, one of these players that can actually get us up and over and be a fourth or fifth seed, like season in, season out. Someone like a Devin Booker. Hopefully, Ant get tired of Minnesota or something. He comes available. You never know with this league, man. The landscape changes every 6 months, and hopefully we keep our options open to where when that door do open, we can come in full fledged and snag us one of these players that actually want to move and see us as a viable spot to come and play. So I agree. I agree with both of y'all, man. But it is a definitely a prove it season coming up, because we don't have no more time to waste. EF.
Hey, I think for me, I think last year I called 43 wins. We got to 41. You know what I mean? I said if we didn't get to 43, it would be an utter and atrocious failure, and I was wrong. 41 wins was good. It was it was right on par, close to what I thought we was gonna be able to get to. I don't think the moves we made this year put us any farther ahead. I don't think Steven Adams, Reed Sheppard, or Adrian Griffin make us a better team, or make us, give us more wins. It's not going to add wins to our projection as far as Vegas goes, I don't think. But I do think it adds a little depth, and it adds a little confidence to our team. And just to say this, Stone is off the hot seat with me, because I seen him do stuff this year. The move with New Jersey, to me, was a significant move, in the fact of he showed the ability to work with other GMs in good, in good faith. That was something that Daryl Moore never did. You know, Daryl Moore always tried to be like Danny Ainge. Like if I deal with you, I'm winning. And Stone said, that with New Jersey, it was a win-win for both teams. Then we see the comeback with Adrian Griffin. That was a deal from making good on the like Frank had said, that was just for making good on the deal with the Atlanta Hawks and showing that hey, we can, we'll do good business with people. So when people have players come available, they look at us and say, hey, they did good by us, we're gonna do good back by them. So he showed that he can make good partners in the NBA, good business partners and stuff like that in the NBA. And he also showed that he'll be fair to his players. So, he's not dealing with players like assets. He came out and said that um, if Reed wasn't available, he wasn't going to draft a center. That gives Shangoon a bit of confidence and says, "Hey, look, we invested in you." So that'll take his that little angst that he might have had about them trying to Jordan love him, away from him. So I think that was all good stuff. And then the move to push the kick the can down the road, as y'all say, just to say, you know what, we're gonna make a move that might help us in the future, and we're gonna strong arm Phoenix out of a player because now he in the position to strong arm Phoenix out of a player, whether they want to be strong armed or not. And that was major. He could have folded and just said, "Hey, we're gonna give a bunch of stuff for Mikal Bridges." He didn't. He could have took all them picks and just did something stupid with it. He didn't. Daryl Moore definitely would have. And I think Stone showed a lot of savvy. He showed a lot of savvy this offseason, going into the draft or whatever like that. And I just want to see what he's gonna do going forward. I do think by trade deadline, he's gonna do something major. And I think we're gonna be looking better. I think our win projection for this year, you know, maybe another 7 games. And I think that's just off the experience and the drive that our teammates have. Um, People forget that Dylan Brooks was shooting 50% for the better part of 25 games. You know, 50% from three, I mean. So, it's not like he wasn't shooting the lights out of the ball. He just started shooting bad when players start playing bad, when Jalen was having times where he was playing bad or other guys wasn't rotating the ball and different stuff was going on. Dylan Brooks, resorted to his old habits. And then obviously he started taking bad shots and, shooting air balls and stuff like that. And most of his stuff was bonehead fouls, but he shot the hell out of the ball last year. And that's something that really goes under the radar when people talk about Dylan Brooks.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know.
real quick
Go
space for
ahead.
DB. I think there's two things that I saw with his shooting. One was he got injured. Two was he hit when the whole team started shooting bad when they hit that wall in January. Everybody was shooting bad. And that was Fred. Was remember y'all remember Fred ended off January just horrible shooting from three. So we talked about this space that they hit that wall. It was a fatigue thing, and they got the break and came back playing better. That was simply it. I think where it's not Dylan Brooks, his biggest issue to me was defense. His defense was not good down the stretch of the season. And and I don't know what that was. I don't know. I didn't watch him that like I watched them in Memphis, but I guess when you got a guy on your team, you get to see every flaw, every little thing about them. His wing defense it's aggressive, but it's not just like elite. Like so, that's why I'm okay with replacing him with a player that probably shoots better and is probably just as good of a defender. Now, obviously, the culture stuff, him bringing toughness, being our enforcer, all that stuff is valuable. Just like having a white shooter. There's all these kind of tropes in the NBA that are real, bro. Like you can't put a stat on it, but there's a thing about having a crazy guy on your team that just makes you win. Like as we know as Rockets fans with Mad Max, like it's or whether it was a Metal World Peace or a Rodman, you know what I mean, or anybody on the pit. Like you need a guy like that to bring a certain edge, especially when you got a bunch of these young, y'all know how these younger generations are. So, but I'm not gonna cry if they move off of Dylan, but I do think that he does get a kind of a bad shake sometimes with the fans.
Yeah, and because I kind of mentioned this earlier, I think it'll probably be easier at this point of our rebuild our growth to get rid of Dylan before Fred VanVleet because we still got a question mark at who's going to be the one to take his spot. And with our man playing so much, wing in the four or dunker spot, we didn't really see our man to be able to actually get his feet under him and running the offense. Like I think I wanted to see him do more, but the lack of shooting didn't help. So it kind of he had to transition to where he can be more effective at. But Dylan Brooks, I just I agree with Frank. I'm not gonna say he was overrated as far as a defender, but because he at least he do put the effort in to try to be there. But the over aggressiveness, the antics, the refs getting in his head, it kind of if he was more composed, then I think he'll serve better off being that type of defender that we wanted. Because some of his antics came with it like 2-3 minutes left in the game or the end of a quarter, and it gave the other team momentum and things like that. And yeah, he was shooting good for the very first half of the season, and like Frank said, all of us hit a wall. But then we seen when Şengün went out, mostly everybody picked their game back up, and it was a little bit different because we was running more and not doing half court sets to where it was giving defensive chances just to load up on Şengün, and everybody's being stagnant, kind of almost like how the Harden era was when everybody's just standing around the 3-point line and then you feed it in. One player get the ball and he make all the decisions with it for the most part. But now the hint on the trade with the Brooklyn Nets, I don't think that was just a hard trade to do because Brooklyn was itching to have their picks back. I will give them props for getting something back as far as an aging star that you have in Kevin Durant and with Phoenix in that move, because eventually that's gonna come to an end. By the time that do come to an end, then their picks will be more valuable. I get that, but I'd rather go ahead and get off of them and try to pry away Devin Booker from them. If that's the end game, trying to get Devin Booker from them, because we don't know where Jalen Green is going to end up. Then if we don't, then those picks will still be valuable to where we can move them to and just give them away to somebody else in that for another different type of superstar. If Jalen Green do actually come to be the player that we think he can be, then you still got assets in your chest to move and to get another star type wing player or something like that. Then it's a good move, for projection value, like where they project out to be. So I don't think that was just a ringer of a trade. That's just me. That's just me. But it's no surprise that when you get an actual leader in the house, Ime Udoka, you're not gonna be doing stupid stuff. He's not gonna let you just go out and do the stupid stuff. So I think Udoka have a big part to play in how Stone is kind of navigating this offseason because we know he ain't gonna let just anything happen on his watch. Let's see if I can get Brown Christmas in here, man. Brown Christmas, what's good, bro?
Hey, what's good, man? Nice to hear from you in space and everyone else out there. And Uncle
Good to
Charlie,
see
his
you,
little
man.
rant. um, I just want to say what's up, and it's good to see y'all guys back. And then just rocking news in general with the draft and Reed Sheppard. I really was on the trade down or trade out myself, and I kind of wanted to see them address not just shooting, but shooting and by having some vertical spacing. But I am not mad at all that we have Reed Sheppard, and uh, you know obviously we'll have to cover up for his faults, and he's not going to be ready year one. But I think that he will be a good addition to the group we have. Until everyone else's shooting comes up, it's nice to have a guy automatically on the team that is able to hit. And I would like to see him play next year in certain lineups. I would not I don't want him to be like with Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green at the same time. I think the smart play is to not have is to pair him up with a bigger guard next to him, just like Amen Thompson. I think those two pair up perfectly. Um, and
Oh man, we lost him. We lost him. I see some people in the chat saying that Reed will be a superstar. I think that is. I'm trying to be nice here. I think that is a bit of a stretch. As far as superstar, I don't know because we hardly see guys that size become an actual superstar unless he's going to be Steph Curry with a shot to where he can just shift the whole defense and he's a threat soon as he cross half court. Superstar is a bit over exaggeration in my assessment, but maybe I'll be wrong though. Frank, what you think?
It's not saying he like okay. I think it's hard for any player, even in better draft classes, to be a superstar. Number one. Number two, for Reed to be a superstar on the Rockets, let's say he could be in a perfect world, it would involve them clearing the way for him to do so. One of the main reasons a lot of guys in the league don't get a chance to reach their upside is because of opportunity. That's another thing I'd be telling people. Just because a player is good at X, Y, and Z doesn't mean they're going to be allowed to do X, Y, and Z on the court in the NBA game when there are other players there. Like for Reed to be a superstar, for any player to be a superstar, you got to get the reps, the usage, the touches, and the offense has to be catered towards you. Let's use Steph Curry for an example. Steph Curry, high usage player coming out of college. So the team that drafted him knew that they were getting him for high usage. Reed is not a high usage player. Steph was an on ball kind of a heavy pick and roll, a lot of reps on ball. Reed plays both on and off ball. He did play a lot of point guard for for Kentucky, and he shared the backcourt a lot with Dillingham. But even his sets at point guard were really just high screen. One either it's going to be high screen shoot, high screen pass, or attack closeouts, then use his passing skills. That's not typical of like a point guard. He wasn't really breaking nobody off the dribble, wasn't really running multiple actions in a set offense. And then back to the team context with the Rockets, like that means that for that to happen, Jalen would have to be moved probably. Now Şengün, I think Şengün was a big man, so any guard you pair with him has that upside. So I don't think he's ever going to be the issue unless if Reed was a big man, then I'd say so. But so any of our guard prospects would have to be either be moved or downgraded. That includes Jalen, Amen. Well, not really Amen. So if you leave Amen at wing, you move Jalen, Cam comes off the bench, and then Reed is like numero uno on like the ball handling, then yeah. And in order for him to do that, he has to average 20 plus points a night. That's another thing that he doesn't draw a lot of fouls, bro. And that's because he's not getting to the rim like a Jalen Green would. Even though he's a great athlete, just not that level of athlete in NBA. It's kind of neutralized with the bigs in the NBA. It's really hard for me to see it just because he's not getting downhill, paint touches, finishing. Then you add with the shooting and then the passing. So I mean, it's a stretch, bro. I think Jalen still has a better chance to be a superstar than Reed Sheppard. I think Reed Sheppard has a better chance to be a better NBA player. Just my opinion. My even outcome for him is that dude is just going to be like a really good NBA player. Possibly if he reaches his upside as a secondary guard, that's a floor shooter, all NBA, second team, third team type of guy. But I want you guys to go through NBA history and find me a player of his profile that's become a superstar and try to do it without naming the greatest blah, blah, blah of all time. Because people want to
John Stockton or something like
and Steph Curry. Like, come on, bro. Let's be real. So it is what it is. I think once again, great pick for the Rockets. He's going to fit into what we do. And he's going to be a great player. And maybe down the line, they actually move some of these guys, then open up a spot for him to actually get into the starting five. I think that's going to be his first battle, is trying to be a starter in the NBA. But IQ, smarts, shooting, and I think he has a formula to really be a winning player. And that's really what I'm excited about. I'm with EF Hutton on that. I love players like that, the IQ guys, because you need as many of those guys on your team as possible if you're going to try to win a chip. because I know that if he gets up to speed, I'll never be worried that Reed Sheppard's in a game because I know he's going to make the right play. He's going to do the right thing. He's going to be there for the moment. I wish we had more players like that on our team. I think Amen is like that. I don't think Jalen has that trait naturally. I think Jalen can improve to that. I don't think Jabari has that naturally, but they have more talent. But it's a good blend on our young team. And I think for the Rockets, like they are kind of evening this thing out. And I think Reed is going to be a big part of what we do because he brings so much to the table. Once again, that passing is going to be his thing. That passing and that shooting in combination is really, really deadly. And the only thing, bro, I'm going to say this before I stop talking. I'm a little worried about Ime Udoka and how he's going to use all these players, bro, because he didn't show me much this last season of his offensive creativity to maximize the different skill sets our players have. If they're using Reed as just a corner spacer on pick and rolls with Fred and Şengün or Jalen and Şengün, I'm going to be pretty mad. We need more DHOs. We need more off-ball screening. We need more actions. They did a lot of that towards the end of the year, so I'm hoping that's a preview of things to come. But it's you're talking about superstar. If they don't know how to maximize him, then he's not even going to reach his baseline potential in Houston if he's just like used as a Garrison Matthews. Like he has a lot of potential on ball, off ball, a lot of different things you can do with him. I just hope they don't waste it. That Ime gets a little more creative.
Yeah, and I agree. EF, did you want to touch on anything, or you?
Now, I was just gonna say, yeah, I mean, definitely. As far as people talk about Reed Sheppard, and I hear people say this a lot, Reed Sheppard and Amin Thompson complement each other. That's not true. You know what I mean? I holistically disagree with that whole notion for the simple fact that um Reed Sheppard, to me, based off of the trajectory of the NBA, his the perfect pairing for Reed Sheppard, and I say this like in the future, would be if he is a guard and his guard next to him is a guard. Let's say Tari shoots like we've seen him shoot from three, and Tari was able to move to two, or Cam Whitmore was our shooting guard. That would be the better pairing in the backcourt for Reed Sheppard. Armin and Reed in the backcourt, to me, it don't impress me because you play off of Armin and you double on Reed, and that just takes away his strength because Armin can't shoot the ball. So that's not getting it for me right now. But like Frank said,
Wait, EF, explain. So you said Tari and Cam should be in the backcourt?
no, I'm saying if Reed was in the backcourt, if we was playing, let's say in a world where Fred VanVleet got moved and we wasn't gonna play have Dylan Brooks at three or whatever, or even if Dylan Brooks was there, if I would have Reed and Cam, I'd rather have Reed and Cam as shooting guard, or Reed and Tari as shooting guard than Reed and Amin playing Amin at point guard and Reed at shooting
Oh,
guard.
okay.
Because if Amin
I'm
has
looking at it. I look at positional more on the defensive side. So when
yeah,
I say pair them together, if I'm guarding I wouldn't want Cam, even though Cam is a better defender than a lot of people give him credit for. I would say I want Reed and Amen defensively. Now on the offensive end, Amen is such a Swiss Army knife. Even though he can do some ball handling, I wouldn't use him exclusively as a point. Like he could be my screening wing. You could do different things with him. And also assuming that his finishing gets better, his mid-range floater, whatever it is, gets better. I think the rim pressure combo with the almost like Draymond and Steph is how I see those two working off of each other. And I do agree with you. You would need a Cam Whitmore. So I see it as a Reed, a man, and another shooter out there to
right,
do the
definitely,
like that.
yeah, definitely,
But see, the
definitely.
thing is, if let's say he end up, I mean, and if you got Şengün in there with him, then ain't no way they're gonna be able to lay off of our man and double Reed. If they laying off our man, more than likely they're gonna be doubling Şengün. So Reed is still gonna be able to flex and go around and do his thing without. And it's harder to double guys that move around like Steph Curry than it is to double a guy like Cam Whitmore who needs the ball and get a couple of dribbles in to actually go downhill and to do his thing. So I still think if you pair him with the right matchup with a big like Shangoon, where more than likely they're going to double Shangoon before they double Reed, and I still think he'll be effective still playing with Allman, because then now you got a highway open for Allman too, and then he can kick it out to Reed and find Reed moving around.
I'm gonna say this real quick. Watching the film on how teams played him in college, they did a lot of high hedging on Reed and a lot of show and retreat, soft traps and things like that. Sort of how they were playing Jalen when he was on his heater in March, um, and when he was on ball, right? And when he was off ball, the guy was kind of arm's length on defense, which is also very helpful. If I put him on ball and I put Shangoon as a screener, I think that's also a very interesting combination. Now, whether a man is out there or not, I don't know. But I think that screen pick and roll game with him and Shangoon, because Shangoon is such a talented passer, that it does put a lot of pressure on the defense. That if you're going to concede a short roll to Shangoon, and maybe a man is out there cutting, you got Jabari or whoever else on the wings waiting to shoot it. It is very interesting. I'm sure the Rockets thought through all of this when they were drafting him. If to me, that's what stands out, that he does draw out, and they were setting not trapping. They didn't really trap him, but they would do a lot of high hedging, damn near right past half court. And every time, if you misplayed it, he would punish you. And that's one thing about his IQ. He knows when to punish. He knows when to pass. He knows when to drive. He knows when to pull up for the midi. So interested to see if they are going to give up reps to him for in spite of Jalen, in spite of Amen, in spite of Fred. Because talking about superstar, that's the only way for him to really reach his full ceiling, is he has to get some of those on-ball reps. And maybe Ime is serious about Amen being a wing, because that's a comment he made. To me, it would only make sense if they move the men to the wing offensively, and just focus on a Jalen, Reed, and Fred kind of the backcourt ball handling duties. Maybe Cam a little bit, but I doubt it with Cam. And I'm suspecting that's probably what's going to happen, is that Amen is going to be more of a backup screener. Maybe he plays some of the three, different things with him. But there's a lot of ways you could mismatch with different players. I don't know how. EF, let me ask you this: how do you think him and Jalen Green in the backcourt look together?
I think it's an interesting backcourt as far as the speed and the ability to attack. I think defensively, what happens is Jalen is going to make Reed Sheppard's defense look bad. Offensively, it could be interesting, but it goes back to the point you said. If Reed have high IQ and Jalen is iffy on the IQ, so one of Reed's, to me, one of his strongest assets to me is his ability to find the opening when the defense shifts. So if the defense, like you say, when the defense starts to hedge on Jalen, Reed will shift slowly into that position, waiting on the ball and already knowing what he gonna be able to do. But if Jalen has blinders on, or he not making the right pass, then it take away from that strength. So I don't. I mean, I think it'll be good, but it's still a very undersized backcourt. But obviously, Fred VanVleet and Jalen's an undersized backcourt. I always feel like Jalen's speed, his best position would be at a guard position with like a Cam Whitmore or a Tari Eason. That's what I always felt. So it would be like having with Reed and Jalen, it would be almost the equivalent of having back in the Kenny Smith, Vernon Maxwell days. That's what it would remind me of.
That's a good point. Hell,
Yeah,
it'd be like Reed and Rob Dillingham. That's basically what I feel. That's
Right.
and and another thing I will be interested to see is how much do they use him as a decoy? Because if once he hit a couple of shots, right, and you have him on the perimeter on like the elbow or something, and he's running around doing these things, and then you can set a back screen for Jabari, and it's gonna be opened up because he's gonna draw defenders out of the paint. And then you can set a back screen for Jabari to come and get those little 15, 16 foot mid-range jumpers off even better, because it's going that space is gonna be real open. So I would look into having him do his thing, and once he draws that attention, set a back screen for Jabari. Jabari curl off that screen. He's right in his motion. hit him with it. He's right there 15, 16 foot. And we know that's where Jabari can actually be effective at. I think it's a lot of way you can use him without just actually putting the ball in his hands to actually be effective and try to shift the defense over to get your guys more backdoor cuts and things of that nature.
Nah, you spot on, Ghost, because it's the
Yep.
same thing that I was thinking. You know, my main thing for Reed right now, if he come in the game, my main thing is the threat that he would be. Like, people would see him and automatically think, I gotta watch him. You know, so I automatically would have him running off screens, going down in the post and popping out the other side and just moving, using his gravity to move the defense and see how attractable he is. See how much he actually can shift the defense without the ball, because nobody wants him to float, drift out to the corner or to the wing and catch the ball wide open. So they would shift and they would leave arm and open in the dunker spot for alley oop. And that's going to open up spots for Jabari to shift over into the high post and catch the high post and get the little elbow jump off and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, to be honest, Reed is a player, and I mean, we got Fred, so obviously it's not going to happen. But Reed is a player that I feel like if needed be, he could start right now, just because of the threat he poses to the defense. And even if he don't have the ball, he's still such a threat that you got to watch him until he come out and show that, hey, I'm still 19 years old, and I still got nerves and jitters, and I'm gonna miss a lot of shots. Now, if he come out and he miss a lot of shots, then people will start playing off of him until he start to make them. But as of right now, I would use him as a decoy a lot.
Who would you start him over, bro?
Who right now?
Yeah.
I mean, if Fred wasn't started, if Fred wasn't there, I would start him immediately.
Nah,
at point
Fred
guard.
there. So who?
Yeah.
who
No, I
started?
mean,
You got it.
I mean, I don't think he can crack the start lineup
Yeah,
this year.
who like even not even talent, just functionally, who do you like from a defensive, offensive? What player would make the most sense for him? If you had to say, I'm gonna start him, what player would you take off?
Well, obviously it's Jalen.
Yeah, that's the only option, and I don't think he's even close to as good as Jalen.
No, not at all. Not at all. And he's not better than Fred. He's not better than Jalen. And he's too short to start with Fred. So, I mean, I wouldn't, there's no way I would start him and Fred together in the backcourt. I just wouldn't do it. I'm not going to run out there with Scotty Brooks and Scott Skiles. Start talking about backcourt. That's not me.
Nah, Chris Paul and
I won't,
Chris
like
Paul
I
and
say,
JJ Redick backcourt, they ain't do it for you.
nah, it's not working for me. My thing is, like I say, for me, if Reed Sheppard, let's say, you know, somebody wanted Fred VanVleet, I wouldn't. Let's say somebody was going to trade, and this is my hypothetical. Some kind of way, somebody was going to trade us a significant upgrade at power forward or small forward, right? And they were going to take Fred VanVleet from us to do that. So you can imagine whatever player you want. I wouldn't be scared to do that, because I would say, hey, guess what, Jalen? You going to the bench. I'm either moving Cam or Tari to the shooting guard, or Dylan to the shooting guard, a big guard at the shooting guard, and I'm going to start Reed Sheppard. And I'm going to move Armin to the 3 or Tari to the 3. It's gonna be one of my defensive players at 2 and 3. Either Cam, Tari, Dylan, or Armin at between the 2 and the 3. And Reed at the point guard and LP at center. And I'm good. Because as long as you got that defensive presence at 2, 3, and 4, you know what I mean? That's in replay defense, I'm good.
Let me push back. Reed Sheppard's pick and roll screen navigation is some of the worst I've seen. And people underplay that. And to me, that's literally the difference, in my opinion, for the Rockets being a top 10 defense and a bottom 10 defense because of Şengün. Because we don't have one of the biggest upgrades from our team defensively is the fact that Fred VanVleet's navigating screens allows Şengün to be able to play at the level, and even you can get away with a little bit of drop from time to time with him, because whoever the ball handler is that you're trying to guard, Fred is on their hip the whole time, and that's a skill set. That's a skill. It's not something, you just learn it. That's a thing some guys never pick up in the NBA. Like that's an actual skill to be able to navigate screens because it's a certain technique you got to use to get skinny to be able to fight over and do it over and over and over and over and over again, and still be effective on the other side of the ball. Not saying Reed is not going to get there. As far as him playing early, I think that's one of the things he's going to have to improve on is his ability to navigate screens. In an NBA, if they have film that you're bad at that, these teams are going to run you through a million screens, bro. And you're going to get your head going to be spinning. You're going to get so damn lost. And he's doing it in college. It took Jalen damn near 3 years to get with that. Um, Now, Amen Thompson, he's a decent screen navigator, but he's still kind of big. I think Reed has the body type to learn how to do it. I think it's like I said, it's a technique thing, something, and more of a just understanding what you have to do and learning those things. But off of that, I think that Coach Udoka, I'm only looking at defense when I think about who's going to play and who's not. One of the things that rookies, no matter how good you are as a defender, as a rookie, the NBA's defensive coverages from team to team, night to night is so much different than the NCAA. These NCAA teams, you're going into zone half the time. You got single matchups where you just shadow the same guy. That stuff, the NBA, you switching now, you might guard all 5 players in one play. And then you got to cover for your guy on the, if you playing the low, you're the weak side help. You're the, play side help. There's so many different positions you got to play in a single NBA play. These rookies, they just have trouble really getting that down early. So I think for Reed, his biggest thing is if he wants to get on the court and play, so he's probably going to play spot minutes to start. They might ship him down to the G League, is to get the defensive playbook down. And that's going to be an uphill battle for him, given the fact that he's young. He's not a great defender. And, the size obviously is an issue. So for me, perfectly, I'd let him chill and watch and grow. They have enough of a team that they don't necessarily need him right now today. I think if he can do the Amen and Cam thing where by January he's like playing 15, 20 minutes and actually coming in, giving us minutes. I personally think Cam Whitmore is a better prospect than Reed Sheppard. I think Amen Thompson is a better prospect than Reed Sheppard, and we see how those guys struggle in the NBA. The NBA is really, really, really hard. Now, Reed to me is a guard version of Tari Eason, which is a dude, just put him on the court, good things are going to happen. He's going to make the right plays, do the right things. But as far as like him reaching his full potential, for me, the defense has to improve a lot. But one thing I will say, I personally feel like if the Rockets want to maximize him, he needs to be groomed to be the point guard of the future, in my opinion. Like they need to groom him to be Fred VanVleet. And I'm okay with Amen Thompson moving into that wing role, that secondary kind of point forward, because I feel like Reed's best, like I have a thing about, especially in today's NBA with all these big men out there, if you have a player that can pull up from outside of 25 feet off the screen, you got something. But that's only predicated on him being a good defender, bro. And if he can't play defense, then all this stuff is irrelevant. He just got to be a neutral defender. So I think Ime is going to make him earn that. And then the offensive part, groom him to be a ball handler that you set a high screen and roll, drop coverage, pull up 3. If they want to press him up, pass it off to your big man. Or if you can get an attack a closeout or get a paint touch, he driving and kicking. He got a floater. He got the Chris Paul mid-range pull-up already. So the on-ball thing is something they need to flush out, or they really wasted a 3rd pick. That's just my opinion.
Hey,
right. And I truthfully, you wanted to go ahead, Eo.
Now go ahead, because I got a couple things. Go ahead.
No, I just gonna say, truthfully, from my point of view, and I'm leaving myself to be open for correction down the line. I just don't see him being an NBA starter. I can see him being a good, effective 6-man, 7-man. Coming off the bench, giving you that outside shooting that you need. But I'm not sure he's gonna be able to surpass. His limitations is too. I think they just overwhelming for me to see that he's gonna be an actual starter, because when you get down to it, like Frank always says, teams are gonna try to pick on you, on the white guy, and put him in the pick and roll. And imagine him getting in pick and rolls, and he got to hold the K Cunninghams and these big guys, the
Jimmy Butler, Paul
Aaron
George,
Foxes,
SGA, Devin Booker.
SGAs, and I just don't
LeBron.
see. Yeah, I don't see a clear path of him being a starter. But him coming off being a 6-man and he can come out and give you 3-4 threes, 4-5 threes if he get hot. I can see that. I can definitely see that. And he can play the passing lanes very well, but on ball, like Frank was saying, is just he just don't have it. And I just don't see him being an actual NBA starter because then he's gonna compromise the rest of your defense. And then we got Jalen. He's not a great defender. Shangoon, he made strides, but he's still down low. He still can need work. I don't know, man. I don't know unless you're gonna pair him with all wings, and then you're gonna be missing something else. I just don't see it. But maybe I'm just overthinking it right now. But that's what I
No, no, you
project him out to be.
no, you right. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, when I talk about him being a starter, I definitely mean pretty much pairing him with all wings. But that's like I say, two wings, a power forward and a center is what I would look to do. But um the Frank, you spot on, bro. The his strength defensively is the Tory thing. It's just a knack for being able to disrupt the offense. So even though you might beat him, he's still there somewhere. So the way he kind of play defense is kind of like, I'm sitting in the chair, I'm there, I'm leaning, I'm pushing you to where I want you to go, and I know that you might kind of get that step, but I'm still close enough to where I can get to your ball. And then when you try to make the pass, I know where your pass is going. And then that's how he get his hands on those balls. It's intuition, it's knack, it's all out hustle. It's not and like they say, sneaky athletic. You know what I mean? The token white boy phrase of the year, sneaky athletic. You know, he always around he always around the ball somewhere, Paul. And that that allows him to disrupt plays, stay in passing lane, like Go said. And now, I mean, obviously, like I said, it's not a matter of starting no time soon for guys who got that kind of Rockets mentality. Like, oh yeah, we got a new player, he gonna start. Nah, he not gonna start, bro. Even if Van Vliet get hurt, Reed Sheppard is not gonna start. They're gonna start Jalen at point guard and and stuff like that, and Reed to come off the bench. But we do want to see him primed into that position and getting reps with the second unit, which is my point. Before I ask you this question, Ghost and Frank, I want to say this. Something I called for Jabari to do all last year, and something that I think I heard Go said Jalen need to do is when you get inside the defense, not just jumping. I know Uncle Charlie said this all the time. Not just jump in the air and try to fly around and pass everybody. Just get inside the defense and play the ball off the glass. Now go watch Reed Sheppard highlights. Go back and look at his games in the March Madness and watch how many times he hesitate like he finna shoot the ball, his man close out, and he go drive into the lane, play the ball off the glass perfectly, right side, left side, with just like automatic, instinctively. I'm gonna play this ball off the glass. It's not even like I'm not even shooting to shoot nothing but net. And this is why we say like the fundamental white boy. That's why that's an actual phrase. The fundamental white boy. I'm gonna throw this ball off the middle of that square, and it's gonna go in almost every time. That's what it's there for. So the question I wanted to ask was, um, if you're looking at a second unit, do you think Reed go into that second unit to play? And if he do, who do how do you play your second unit?
Space, you want to
Frank,
go first?
you
Okay. So starters we assume is Jalen, Fred, Dylan, Jabari, and Shangoon. So we still got Cam Amen, Tari. We got who else? We got Steven Adams. Hopefully, if he's healthy, we got Reed. Uh, who else am I missing?
Uncle Jeff.
Uh, well, I'm not gonna count him. I don't think he was here
I don't
to
think we
actually play.
re-signed him yet though. Did we?
Yeah, I don't think we re-signed him yet. But Londale, a bunch of bigs and stuff. I'm trying to think. I know I'm missing somebody important. But regardless, Amen, Cam, Tari is 3 for sure. I think Holiday is gone. Tate, I don't count him as relevant. AJ Griffin, I don't think he's going to get that many minutes, honestly. So I think Reed has a good chance to be the second string point guard or share the backcourt with Amen Thompson. I think that's what we're probably going to see. Them two and Cam, some formation of them at 1, 2, and 3 with Tari and then whoever the center rotation is going to be in the back end. Now, this is assuming the Rockets don't go ahead and sign a veteran. If they sign a veteran that's a shooter, a movement shooter, or in that archetype, I wanted us to go get KCP, but that didn't really work out. He went to Orlando. Then I think Reed does have a good chance to play. This is all predicated on we don't have a veteran option. The reason I keep saying the veteran, Ime Udoka is 99% of the coaches in the NBA will likely favor the veteran to play early on than the rookie just because he's trying to win games, and you cannot blow reps on the NBA on a team that's trying to win, go to the playoffs with a rookie making defensive mistakes. It's always going to be defense with these young guys and their coverages. And you're, as a guard, you're going to be asked to do a lot early because the position of ball handling in the NBA is the strongest right now, along with the bigs. But there's so many dynamic ball handlers that if, like Space was saying, if I'm an opposing coach, I'm going to find out just how good Reed Sheppard is on defense real early. And I'm going at his neck for the whole game until he shows me something or the team adjusts, and I'm just going to punish y'all off of that. That is a natural inclination of most NBA teams. And that's why, once again, Rafael Stone made the point to say these words. We will surround him by our collective length will help him because he knows that's going to be the thing the NBA is going to look at. So you got to put him around guys that can play defense, can help him. The length is going to shorten the space for teams to attack him. Watching his tape, his on-ball defense is not great at all. And a lot of his steals came off of him gambling in passing lanes and stuff. The ball handlers in the NBA are much smarter. The teams are much more sophisticated. So even though he's going to get a lot of those steals, a lot of times that's going to turn into a bad positioning for him where he tries to gamble for a steal. Guys are foul merchants in the NBA. These are professional bucket getters. So all that stuff that he does to overcompensate for his lack of wingspan size, which like a lot of players like Şengünlü, which is reach, like Tate, you notice the guys that are really good at stealing the ball, like James Harden, is they're compensating for something they don't have. It's a good thing because it shows that he is a thinker. He knows his limitations. But if you're not really, really elite at doing that thing, timing the ball or whatever, teams are going to know that. They're going to bait you into a lot of stuff. And for him, the faster he gets on that, the faster he sees the court. Ideally, for me, I'm opposed to you, EF. I want to pair him with Amen Thompson. On defense. On offense, I agree with you. As far as offensive sets, I may, screen with him and have maybe a Cam Whitmore adjacent, put him in the dunkers, may screen with Amen as a screener for him. But I do want them playing off of each other because I feel like they have complementing skills. Amen, a rim pressure guy that can be a blur downhill, bigger, as Reed is a floor spacer. So you can play off of, are you going to stop Amen getting downhill one-on-one with your big man with some guard, or are you going to leave the guy that he's getting the ball from alone with some space? He can play probably, I would say, the same arc Amen Thompson got. Bring you in early, see how you do. If you mess up, we bench you. And keep running that same script over till the middle of the season. If his IQ is up to par, like I assume it is, I feel like he's on the Amen Şengün level of IQ, then by the January, he should be getting consistent minutes. And then somebody gets hurt or it's a certain lineup, he's going to get some burn with Jalen and Şengün and Fred. And you start seeing him. If he is as good as he is, he's going to have the Amen Thompson arc, which is first have a niche on the bench, then become a utility player that you get plugged into all sorts of lineups in different positions. Okay, Reed, you're going to play point guard now. All right, we need you to play the 3. You're going to be spacing. We're going to run a lot of pick and rolls against this team. All right, bro, you're going to play in the 2 in Jalen's position. You and Fred are going out there. We like to come off screens against this big man, right? Okay, you playing this. Now you're going to be running around a lot. This team can't chase screens, so we putting you into action. You're going to run through multiple, you just running all day today. I feel like that's what he's going to be his first couple of years in the league. Ultimately, I'm growing to the fact of him being a ball handler, learning. I hope he has that up range where he can scale up to be a better dribbler and a guy that could really handle the ball. Because if they want to see him reach his full potential, to me, once again, it's him dribbling, coming off screen, pull up threes, attack, close out, or you want to come and try to trap me, beat the trap. Because his escape dribble, EF Hutton, bro, is professional. That escape dribble off the soft trap where he just,
Nice
and
angle.
if y'all don't know what an escape dribble is, it's a long dribble that a ball handlers use to get out of, like, they get in the mess with the screeners coming up. He got a nasty escape dribble. And the thing about his escape dribble that I really, really appreciate, as soon as he gets back to the ball, he's in a set position to shoot the ball. And it looked the same every time. Like you were talking about with his off the glass stuff, I was like, it's almost like they made him in a lab to just, okay, lay up just like this, hit that square, it's going to come off. The same way he shoots, if you trap him, he's going to get to a certain read. If you go under, the defender's out of position, hit that escape dribble, get right back to the ball. He's set shot, look like Klay Thompson, bam, it's in the air. If you play it well, he's going to pass it off like a robot, almost too robotic at times. So it's a lot they can do with him. At the end of the day, I'm going to stand on this. If he can't play defense in the NBA, all that stuff mean nothing. He's just going to be a JJ Redick. You know what I mean? And, that's still a good player, but his potential is going to be based on his defense and can he survive? Because I just don't think he's an offensive like juggernaut enough to ignore it like a Luka or James Harden where you're like, well, he's a bad defender, but we'll still let him because he's just carrying our team. I don't think he has that. He just has to be a neutral to a slightly positive defender. To me, that's an even bar for him to meet. And I think Ime Udoka is the right coach for him because he ain't got no choice. So I think second unit, to answer your original question, I think first spot minutes, then it'll grow up based on how he plays. If they have to sit him down for a year, I don't think the Rockets going to blink twice. We got 6 guys that we drafted in the first round, guys. 6 of them. Any of these dudes could have went top 5 in this draft that we already have on the team. I know people like the shiny new toy. We got 6 of them, bro. Jalen Green will be the number 1 pick in this draft. By far. By far. Şengün will be a top 3 pick in this draft. Easy. Amen Thompson, probably 1 or 2 in this draft. Jabari would have been a top 3 pick. It based off what he did at Auburn, Jabari would have been number 1 in this draft. I'm going to just say that. Tari Eason would have been a top 6 pick. Cam Whitmore would have been a top 5 pick. So let's keep that in mind. And a lot of these guys struggled in the NBA to start. They're better than Reed Sheppard as prospects. We'll see what he gets to league. So I'm just saying that to say, let's keep him. Don't hang Coach Udoka when he's not playing, right? Just watch the clips. And obviously, if you guys watch this channel, we're going to tell y'all what's happening so you don't get caught up in the, oh, Ime hates him or da-da-da-da-da. Like, nah, bro, if he ain't playing good defense or they're doing this to him, he's being hunted or his shot ain't falling or they're not using him. I mean, we'll let y'all know. But I just don't want people are saying, oh, he's Steph Curry, he's Dame Lillard, he's John Stockton. I don't see that on film. He could become a great player. Maybe he gets a Steph Curry-like game. But to me, that's so far removed from where he is right now. And I think he knows that. He just has to keep working. You love guys with IQ and work ethic, and he has that. And with that, you can do anything in this world. So I'm just excited about him on this team because he has a certain skill set that we need on this team. And that's really where it's going to come down to him, is him fitting his niche and then scaling up from there.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly with most of what Frank said. One thing I don't want him doing things that he don't have to do. And I don't see him having to do too much. I see him having to just come in and play his role because we got a ball handler, Fred VanVleet. We got guards. We got only thing we missing is a moving shooter. So use him properly to put him in the best position to succeed. And his best asset is his shooting. So I want him to be shooting the ball. I want him outside of the 3-point line. And then when teams adjust, he have the fundamentally awareness and everything to get off the ball and to, like Frank said, be able to not to dodge the trap or break through it or to move the ball when this necessary. I think that's all I want to see from him. If he can do that his first year, then I'm happy. If he can come off of screens and hit threes, I'm happy because we was just lacking that all last year. So I don't want him to be trying to run point guard when he don't have to, or trying to do all this driving and going and driving and kicking like he's James Harden or one of these guys. I don't want to see it if he don't have to do it. But if he actually threaten the defense to come out and to trap him, then then drive in and do what you got to do, find open man and do things like that. But I don't want him unnecessarily doing things that don't even really fit his game because that's just gonna make him look bad and that's just gonna hurt his confidence coming in as a rookie and he's struggling to do things that he's not really accustomed to doing. So that's the only thing I'm expecting from him is to come off screens, hit shots, make a good play here and there, effective passing. Look like I seen him. He can actually make a skip pass. So if he's in the corner and these people they're cutting out of him, do a couple of dribbles, throw it over to across to an open man. Simple things that he don't have to think too much doing right out the gate, and then just let the game come to him. And I think that'll better suit him on this team. And I think that's all we need really for him to do on this team right now. So that's what I'm gonna see. Now, before we go, summer league, Frank, what are you looking for the summer league? Do you care? Do it don't matter?
Of course I
You
care, bro.
want to win it?
We sickos over here. We gonna be watching. I don't give a damn if we drafted the 30th pick. We gonna be watching the summer league for whoever that dude was and the random dudes that's on there. Reed, I think Reed is playing. I think AJ Griffin is playing. I think those are the only two I know of, notably that are going to be in summer league. There was a rumor about Tari, but that was a mistake. Aman and Jabari, shout out to them. They're doing USA Team Select, and guys, that's a huge deal. Huge deal. One of my side intangible events in players' lives is going to all-star events, whether it's even a shooting contest, dribble, because you're around other great players. To me, when that happens in the summer, guys always elevate their game because it gives them a view of what it could be, what it looked like. And I love that Jabari and Aman are going to be around Olympians, and it gives them a goal to set. It makes them want more. They get to pick up little tricks of the trade, networking, tidbits, all that stuff goes a long way. So really happy for them. So they're not going to be participating in the summer league. So looks like Reed is going to be doing a lot of the carrying as far as with the popularity of that. But I want to see what he does as far as what positioning they're putting him in. I feel like he's going to play point guard. I remember last year they put Jabari and Tari really as ball handlers. And I feel like in summer league and summer league and G League are places where if you have a high drafted pick, you get to let your imagination run wild. So whatever it is that they dream of him being, it'll be telling in how they play him. They want Jabari and Tari to become Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. That's why in summer league, Ime had them boys running point, setting up the offense, running pick and roll. They had Jabari running pick and roll. So that tells me that's what Ime's ultimate dream for them is to be wings that can attack closeouts, that can get a call for a screen and cook, get off the screen, maybe go downhill, attack a mismatch, even though they're not there yet. But so if I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, Reed is going to be running point the whole time. The ball's going to be in his hands. It's going to look a lot like Kentucky. You're going to want to see him come off screens and shoot. I want to see how he finishes inside. Now, Summer League doesn't have NBA length per se, but the athletes are definitely better than your average college team. I want to see how he does against length on the perimeter because some of his worst games are against defenses that played him really tight and played him close and denied him the chance to even get off a shot. I want to see how he does with space creation at the NBA level and all these little things that I want to see because to me, for Reed, his issues are never going to be shooting the ball. It's going to be the ability to get a shot off. And that's going to be the thing. How can you get a shot off? Now, you can make that a lot easier with screens and off-ball stuff. But at the NBA level, to be considered even not a superstar, a star, you got to be able to go get a bucket on your own. And so we're going to see, the Steph Curry comparisons. Steph Curry is one of the best ball handlers in this NBA. You know what I mean? He is up there like top 5. Like his dribble game is sick. So Reed is not on that level, and Steph Curry came in as one of those guys. So he's gonna have to work on that. So Summer League is the perfect. I want to see that. I want to see him get a lot of attempts, usage. I want to see him as the primary guy. Like, be the guy, bro. You're not sharing the backcourt with nobody. You get in your Cam Whitmore bag and take 25 shots, bro. And let's see how, because to me, that's what my dream of him is, to become a high usage guard that you can do so much with. So I'm excited. This Summer League is really, really going to be fun for me to see because we have a different type of player that we've never had. And it's going to be fun to see. What about you, bro?
Yeah.
Okay. The rematch, Bronny versus Reed Sheppard, Vegas big time final. They played each other at AAU. So our first game is going to be against Bronny, and it's going to be the Reed Sheppard and Bronny rematch. The Reed Sheppard put up 16 points and 9 rebounds and 4 assists in that game, and they beat Bronny's team. So it's going to be good to see if Bronny wanted his revenge. They're going to be joined at the hip, as far as I'm pretty sure they're going to bring this up in the All-Star game, and if we see them in the preseason, it'll be a topic that'll be talked about, and they're gonna be joined, linked together, kind of like uh, um, Trey Young and Luka Doncic, for a lack of better words, a guy who wasn't supposed to get drafted probably against a guy who some people say probably got drafted too high. So Cam Whitmore, if he plays, maybe he back to back MVP. That'll be something good to see. And yeah. So I think I really think we should be looking to get the ring this year, since they have rings for the summer league. We should be looking to get the ring this year. We probably got the best player that's going to be in the summer league, and obviously I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna be watching.
Yeah, I'm with you and Frank. I think this is the time to see what he can do on the ball. I'm not gonna watch it for anybody else. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I'm not gonna be watching it for this to see anybody else. I'm gonna be watching it to see what Reed Sheppard can do. And like Frank said, I want him to control the ball. I want him to set up offenses, see if he can set up offenses, see if he can run some pick and roll. We know that he can actually shoot, so I want to see how far how much is shooting gonna look, is it gonna translate, because it's a different 3-point line, and this and it's more spacing on the NBA level than in the college level. So I want to see how he take advantage of that. I want to see his driving. I want to see his driving kick game. I want to, because if worse come to worse, if Fred VanVleet, knock on wood, get hurt or something, then I know, well, at least he had this type of experience in the summer league. No, it's not the same quality of players, but at least I know that he can actually go and do his thing and be able to be competent to at least look halfway good till he really get the whole feel of the NBA, that he's trustworthy to run some point guard, some point guard. If Alman Thompson is failing to really translate shooting the ball, and I want to see it all. I want to just let him go out there, let him be the star, let him run the pick and roll. I'm not really worried about the chip, because I don't know who all playing this yet, but I just want to see him do everything under the sun. This is the time in summer league to see what he can and what he can't do. I don't want to get into the season and starting to have to figure it out if we get in a jam or a pinch because some injury or somebody's not filling out their role good enough. I want to see what he can do, and that's the only reason why I'm going to be actually watching the summer league to see what he can do. Gary Kelly, he says, "Come on, Jalen Smith. We got Jalen Smith." Frank, have you seen that?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm hoping, bro.
Oh man, if we get Jalen Smith, man, bro. I'm calling playoffs off the rip. I'm gonna just put it out there. I'm gonna be the new 6 seed Charlie if we get Jalen Smith, bro. So. Do you want to touch on any AJ Griffin, or do you think that's just an afterthought? He probably not. I would say at least if he comes in, we shouldn't see any of Tate. That's gonna be my
Y'all,
plus.
I just wanted to say I don't know too much about some of the players that you guys are talking about. I do sit back and say that, again, y'all, you and Frank and EF, y'all have a lot more knowledge on that. I'm a little bit like Frank because I don't watch too much college basketball because of the simple fact that a lot of times, remember that guard that the Clippers had gotten way back that went to Georgetown, that was a great guard. Everybody was talking about how good he is, and he came to the NBA and didn't do anything. I've
Kevin Killer.
always sit back and said, well, if you good, I'll see it when the NBA starts because it'll show us what it is, the type of player that you are. So like I said, I rely on you and Frank and EF them on what it is when it comes down to that because y'all look at it more than I do. But the thing that I sit back and say about the situation is like I kept knuckling down on. I understand what you guys are saying, and I would be jumping up saying 8 seed or something like that if the Lakers stayed where they were, if Golden State stayed where they were, and everything was like it was this year that just passed. But see, Steph Curry is the NBA's golden boy. So they're going to make sure that they get whatever's in the world that they want. And LeBron James, I know y'all don't like when I say what I say, but I just say what I say about him. He's cheating the NBA. His friend is an agent, and he's funneling every good player over to whatever team that LeBron is on. We don't have that. Now, my thing that I wanted to say to you guys that everybody pushed back on, and Frank had hit on it on one of the podcasts, Space Before You Came. I wanted Paul George, and I wanted Paul George for a reason. And the reason that I wanted him to do, because he's an upgrade to Dylan Brooks. And like I said, when Jalen Green goes through the spell of I'm not going to do nothing until after All-Star break, Paul George would be the type of player that can hold us afloat where we'll be still in the playoff hunt without trying to win every game in order to make the play in. That's one of the reasons. Same thing that I was saying about Kevin Durant. Now, I know they're up in age, and I'm not saying that we're going to turn around and keep them for, all of that. We just sit back and having them like Fred VanVleet is doing right now, helping them. We seen the big thing that he did, the way he stabilized the team whenever we going into a spell of craziness. So I know Paul George can help out with that, but we're not going to get it. Now, you stick Paul George on Golden State, we already can't beat them. So now we really can't beat them. And the Pelicans got what's the name? Devontae Murray, another good person that we have trouble with. That's over there with them. Everybody is upgrading. All we have done is, like I said, the Green Sheppard thing. I'm not going to comment on. And AJ Griffin, I don't know really too much about him. But we need somebody that they know that can stabilize the troops when it's time to stabilize the troops, that's going to turn around and jump up and make us be a little bit of a difference. We don't have that, y'all. We don't. And that's why I say when it comes down to it is that we won't make the playoffs, man. I want us to. Lord knows I want us to. Because like I told you, we came from LA out here to live up in Houston, and everything I hear is LeBron, LeBron, LeBron. That's one of the reasons why I hate him. But when it comes down to us, you and Frank was up at the game. We was with you. You hear them cheering for the other team. That's sad, man. It really is. And every year, all we hear, we got draft picks. We gonna trade them for something. Man, I'm tired of the 4-year drought, because you look at what we did. We should have kept on to the center that we gave to Cleveland for practically nothing. All we ended up with was broke up Oladipo, who didn't want to be here. We was able to draft Tari Eason. We was able to get Şengün. I give it to y'all. I give it to everybody on the Rockets on that. But then you turn around and give those picks back. Do you know what you could get? Because they gonna be sorry that we could get for that pick. Everybody will be looking for that pick to try to turn around and be able to get something. But we gave it back. What? Just talk about something 6-7 years from now? Don't nobody want to hear that. Somebody needs to turn around and jump up and tell Stone. And I know EF was saying that Stone is doing a good job. Yes, he does in drafting. But when it comes down to players, if I can't get mad, y'all, if you try to get something and the team don't want to trade with you, I can't get mad at that. But I can get mad at, like I said, when you're not in the runnings on nothing. But I feel that what we got is going to be this and that. Everybody, Frank, you said it, is getting better. Where have we got no more than marginally better every year for 4 years? Marginally. That's not going to get it done, y'all. It's just not going to get it done. And I hope that I'm wrong. Now, last thing I say, I'm so glad that you guys are back, because I was sitting here saying to myself, man, I don't have my brothers to give me an aspirin from getting a headache from all this craziness. I missed y'all. And like I said, today was luck because your thing popped up and I was looking. I thought it was, like I said, because I listened to Frank, on his podcast and the way that he breaks down a lot of stuff. I thought that's what it was until I heard Space's voice. That's why I said, do we get to talk today? And I'm glad to be able to talk with you guys. Don't get mad at me for what I'm saying. I'm just telling you how I feel. Last thing, Space, you was right. I am guarding everything because every year I get happy. Every year they let me down. Every year. For the last 4 years, I'm tired of being let down. I don't have really nothing to turn around and jump up and be so excited about, man. I'm glad they won 41 games. I'm not saying I'm not. But come on, man. You're going to have to do something other than A.J. Griffin and drafting Reed Sheppard. You're gonna need something. Now, last thing, y'all, like Frank was saying, what do you think could go on? Reed Sheppard takes Aaron Holiday's minutes. That's whose minutes he gets a chance to play over. Tate, I'm with all of y'all. At first, when Space was saying Tate this, I didn't want to sit back and believe it, but it's right. Tate needs to have been gone. What the hell you signing him again for? You should have used that for trade bait. You want to trade for something? Trade him. Trade Landale. And trade Bullock. And Boban, I told you, Space, he wasn't nothing but a mascot. He wasn't doing nothing. Them other people that you trade and you take those picks that you just got from Phoenix through Brooklyn and get us something. I don't want to hear all that other old stuff, man. I just hope I'm wrong, y'all. I really do. But all these picks, what has it done? All we've been able to do is draft young players. And the young players that we got, it ain't a LeBron James that's done walk through the turntable to us. It's not that. So my thing is go get something. I don't give a care if he's old. He can teach them something. Like Fred Van Fleet is doing. We ain't doing that. Our name ain't in nothing because we ain't gonna do no more. I shut up now.
Hey, let me give Uncle Charlie a little silver lining. So with the picks, what they did was they had one that they traded one first round pick and some second rounders for two first round picks. They had one pick swap. Now we got two pick swaps, which means we get the best out of two different teams' best picks. So what that allows us to do is that allows us to going toward when we get close to the trade deadline, when we really need to see what our team is made of, and what we need going into the playoff. That allows us to say, hey, we got these two of Brooklyn Nets best pick coming up, and we got Phoenix best pick coming up after that. So that allows us to make a big move going into the playoff, which is when we really have to see where our team is. We have to see if Jalen's going to pick up because, like you said earlier, Uncle Charlie, Jalen always start out slow. If he start out slow this time, when trade deadline come, he'll probably be gone in the deal with one of those pick swaps. So that's why those picks become important. And when the trade deadline come, we're gonna have time to see what if Reed Sheppard is able to contribute. We're gonna see how our front court looks as far as being able to protect the rim. And if guys are hurt, if Steven Adams' injury is going to keep him from being effective, productive at all for us going into the final stretch of the season, and if those two guys mainly, and those two guys mainly are the guys that we're going to be evaluating to see how they play in the first part of the season, if they're going to be able to be effective for us going down the stretch. With Jay Sean and Londale, we have to keep those guys on the team because of the fact that we need salaries in order to make a trade if somebody comes available. So we can't trade Jay Sean Tate yet because he is our main salary that we have to offer somebody if they want to make a trade with us. If somebody does come available, we have to have Jay Sean Tate in order to make that trade. So that's why we have those guys. That's why those pick swaps we doubled them. We doubled our pick swaps. We doubled our first round picks. That's why all that is valuable, and that's why I feel like Stone did a good job because he set himself up to make good moves this year going into the playoffs and next year in the free agency.
Well, you know what, EF? I got to change my mind on it. You made a lot of good sense with what you just said. The only thing I'm gonna say to you, my brother, man, is this: if you right, I'm gonna get on here and tell you to meet me anywhere in Houston. I'm gonna buy you a bottle of alcohol if you right. You understand what I'm saying? Because, like I said, Lord knows, I hope you are right. But the thing about it is, like I said, you say that we got to see what we got. Man, I done seen it for 4 years, man. I'm tired of looking at that. I am, and I hope that Jalen Green does do something. But man, I got a very bad taste in my mouth when it comes down to Jalen Green because he's not, like I said, when Kobe Bryant and even LeBron's crazy ass and Michael Jordan and the rest of them, Magic Johnson, them, when they lose, it leaves them feeling so bad that they in the gym every day practicing and practicing and practicing to try to come back the next year way better than what they was before. Jalen Green is not doing that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you turn around and jump up and say that you own the Houston Rockets, and at halftime, somebody walking over there selling him a grill. Man, I'll slap the hell out of him because I'm paying you too much money to be having you do that. You make those transactions when the game is over on your time, because you promised everybody up here that you were going to be what it is that we see that you can be. But see, like I said, Frank, you got to sit back and back me up on this one. What did he say to Woosh? Oh, I hate you. Talking about all this other old stuff because he was playing like dog mess. Is the thing that he was playing like, man. I'm telling you, if he comes to play like you saying, EF, and Shingun, I know he gonna do it because this is what he wanted. Both of them said they wanted to win. They wanted to be coached. But one played like dog mess, the other one shine. If they both shine, then maybe they can make the play in or playoffs or whatever it is. But it's gonna take a lot to be able to overtake these teams that are getting something, and we only getting marginal stuff. Like you say, years from now, then fine. The same thing you said, EF. Here it is. You saying something about the picks. They said that when we got the Brooklyn picks. What did it do? Nothing. Nobody traded with us. We didn't get anything. Not something significant. So, that's where I'm going with it. I'm at show me now, man. You can't just tell me about it. You got to show me now. Give me something to be happy about. And Frank and Space, I hope to see you again at another game. EF, I hope you come this time so that I can shake your hand too. I love all of y'all, man. So now let me shut up.
Yep. I think that's a perfect spot to leave it off, man. We going right up at 3 hours, man. I appreciate everybody for coming through. I appreciate y'all hanging with me. Good stream. I appreciate everybody that haven't forgot about the live streams on the Chop Shop, man. And I appreciate Frank for holding it down, man. He's been doing magnificent job. Like always, I don't expect nothing else from my boy Frank. EF, you know you good. Good to hear your voice as well. And all of my CSGs in the chat, man. CSGs. We all we got, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through. I'm out of here, man. Let's go, Houston Rockets.